Next one, good old Mega Man X. I've never beaten it, actually. Fun fact.
Neither have I. If anything, you should be giving me a round of applause for having played any of it, to be honest.
Have you?
Not
epic.
much. Played enough of it to go, this is good. I should get back to it at some point and then wave goodbye to it. It's that scene from Toy Story 3. It's like, bye!
So long, partner.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the HGO podcast. I'm one of your hosts today, Ethan, and joining me, as always, are my good friends, Hunter and Kyle. Hey, guys. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing
Hello.
just well.
It worked.
What's going on
We
with
did
you,
it.
Ethan?
What's going on?
What
Don't
worked?
even get me started. Don't even get me started on what's going on with me. I'm having the time of my life. I'm going to move my webcam slightly that way so I'm more in center frame, which I should have done before we started the podcast, but I'm so professional that I decided to do it
Oh,
during.
you could have delayed our start another 30 seconds.
Why delay what is inevitably going to be a failure regardless, Kyle? Why? You know, just let it...
Point.
Sometimes
Band-Aid
you
off.
just
You
gotta...
look at it that way.
Sometimes you just gotta see how the sausage is made, and it might be ugly and it might be gross, but hey, you know what? That's not nice. You shouldn't call me that. Apologize. That's not nice.
Oh, man.
Anyway, welcome back to the show, everybody. Happy Monday. You know, it's the best part of your day. You get to come here.
Podcast o'clock.
Happy podcast o'clock. It's filler rock time, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a week until video games are showing up again, so we're doing some classic Hunter filler. I'm going to start calling it Hunter filler because it's always you, Hunter. We always put the burden on you. I'm so sorry. It's
I feel like it's not fair that my name gets attached to it when I'm the only one who actually comes up with
Hunter
it.
burden TM, you know? It's your bread and butter, Hunter. It's your bread and butter. But now...
I have ideas. I just need to, work them into being ideas.
Well, you
Right
see,
now they're just,
here's the difference
plans.
here's the difference is, my problem is I like everything being perfect and everything, you know, just being the way I want it to be so that when it goes, so I end up never doing anything because I'm always like, I'll do that next time when I've got more experience, and then I never get any experience because I sit there and do nothing. You're like, how you're kind of similar where you want everything and you're like, Hunter's just like, fuck it, you know what? Best PS2 games, guys. Let's just do it or whatever, and then we do the episode.
PS2 games was a great episode.
It was a good episode. I don't
That
disagree.
was an
Yeah.
episode.
But that's how this podcast started. Was Hunter just going, okay, you're taking the piss now. We're starting.
You've been pushing the
We're
pause
stuck
button on this
inside.
for 3 months.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, I'd been mentioning it way more than 3 months beforehand as well.
Yeah, it was just...
Anyway,
Oh, man.
welcome back to the show, everybody, I guess, where every week we come to talk about everything we love in the world of gaming. You can find us on podcast services everywhere. Just search for Hot Gamers Only or go to youtube.com/Hot Gamers Only, where you can see our stupid faces every week. If you're new to the show, be a dear. Leave us either a positive review if you're on podcasts, or if you're on YouTube, hit us with a subscribe. I don't usually like...
Hold this one
I don't
against us
like
and come back
selling
next
out,
week, please.
but I've noticed that I started saying subscribe more recently, and people have been. So please subscribe. It does us a ton. It
Crazy.
really helps. It really helps. Any engagement really helps as we push ever further forward into this tragedy that is a podcast that has somehow made it to 3 years. Do you know what's really funny? It always makes me laugh is when I look at statistics and it's like, congratulations, you're in the top 8% of podcasts, and I'm like, good lord, think of the 2% that are below us. What a fucking what a pit.
How's that even happen?
If us chuckle fucks can make it to the top 8%, what's everyone else doing, man? I don't know. But anyway, speaking of quality content, Hunter, what are we doing this week?
Oh, this week it was best first levels in video games. Intros,
Yes.
first levels, whatever.
I believe
Beginning
the title will
segments.
be the best intros in gaming history because we love a bit of clickbait. And I feel like the problem is Kyle is a RPG nutter, so they don't really have first
I am.
levels. They have first.
You guys made this very
Good
difficult
starts.
for me.
And I mean, I'm kind of
Nah,
similar.
I went levels.
Every recent video game never has really levels unless you're talking about a platformer, right? You've got first hour or first case or first section, and it's I was like, If it's the first
Oh, that's
in the
all
video
what I
game,
meant.
it counts.
I wasn't gonna. Yeah.
Yeah. Even if it's 4 hours long, unlucky, shouldn't have called it first, because now now it counts. I'm sorry, it counts.
Oh, I
That's
know
just
where
how
you're
it
going with
is.
that one.
Oh yeah, you
I
do.
think.
You probably do. So yeah, we're just gonna talk about. It's not a 3x3. I know there's some people who have already got out the holy water and they're fucking doing this, going, "Oh God, no, not a 3x3." Don't worry, those come later. We're not that desperate yet. We'll bring those out later in the year. Don't you worry. But we're just gonna have a casual discussion about it because why not? You know what could possibly go wrong? I don't know. Who wants to start?
Oh, I could start us off.
Okay, no pressure or anything. You know, just you just the weight of the podcast is on your shoulders.
This is true. And
You
what
know,
better way
if you
to
pick it,
start out?
if you pick something terrible and the your retention drops, I'm just saying, you'll be having a word. What is it?
Hunter,
What is
for a
it?
second, I thought you were flipping me off.
No, it was the index finger.
It was a
I
very
don't exactly
stern
have the
point
space.
for
I don't
audio
have the
listeners.
space to do like the Phoenix right. I would have done that.
You see, I'd also be
Objection.
scared because if I move like anywhere away from my webcam, it starts going in stop motion territory. So I'm just gonna stay still and smile.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've stalled long enough. What is it?
Anyways, y'all, I've been on a Mario Party kick recently,
Oh,
and I gotta
God.
say, Pirate Land from Mario Party 2 is an absolute banger of a map. Ethan, you ever
That's
play Mario
pretty cool.
Party 2? Ethan, you love Mario Party 2, actually.
It's one of the
You love Toad.
I do, but it's like, does this count? I don't know.
I
Yeah,
guess
Fair
I
it's
enough.
the
can't disallow it. So
Okay,
so when you
okay, the
boot
jury's
into the
motion
still
game,
passes.
it's the first board that's highlighted.
Okay, right. Okay, so as you can tell, listeners, we are already stretching the definition far and wide. Yeah, I do like Mario
I
Party.
can go with an actual one if you want.
No.
Keep
You have said
talking.
you have
We've
started,
already-
so you will finish.
You've already
Um,
set the ship a sail.
Oh, there you go. But
Ahoy.
Because it's pirates.
But no, it
Yar.
is one of the 3 N64 games that I have ever played on an N64. Like
about the other
actually,
two?
like N64. Mario 64.
Gross. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Mario Kart 64. So that's
That
literally
one's solid.
they're the only 3 that I've ever played like on hardware. And I like Mario Party 2. That was
Nice.
my favorite of those 3 things. That was my favorite.
Dude, it's a really good video game.
Yeah, it's fab. My favorite part
anyways.
of Pirate Land is the humping toad. That's my favorite part.
Yeah, dude.
And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Is that toad? He's what can I say? He's having fun with that pirate ship. A bit too much fun, if you ask me. I'd be like, cut it
I love
out.
that Toad. I love that
This
Toad
board
has like a
wasn't in
slow
this.
wave back and forth.
Yeah, and
then
then
a
he just gets
super fast
vigorous with
one.
it. And it's like, hang on a minute. Who's having the party here? I feel like we're supposed to be having the party. Yeah, I see Toad's over there in his boat having a bit too much fun in the corner. Like, what is this? But no, it's a solid map. It's probably my favorite in Mario Party 2, to be honest. Either that or
Dude, honestly, I think
Spaceland's pretty cool.
Oh, Space
straight up, I think it's just one of the best
in the
boards
one
in the
I've
game.
played.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this one wasn't good enough for Superstars. They brought Spaceland back and Horrorland. I think they also brought back from Mario Party
Yeah.
2.
Those are my 2 favorites in that game.
Those are really good.
The new
maps.
one that
2
is
is just
also
2
original.
is yeah. 2 is just a really solid game. I love the aesthetic of 2. I like that. Like, there's all these unique designed boards, and all the characters get special costumes for them as well. It just like
that's
it gives the
cool.
game a whole set of personality. Anyways, Pirate Land specifically, this is just like I don't. It's weird because like there's not really like a gimmick to the board. It's just like a solid Mario Party board. You know, star gets placed down, buy it for 20 coins. It's a mad dash. It's classic Mario Party.
There's
Then
no like cannonballs that will land on certain spaces every couple of turns or something.
so that's where I was getting to, Hunter. Thank you for this segue. Along the top
No
of the board,
problem.
you've got these 2 bridges with happening spaces on them. And behind them is a pirate ship. There's 5 happening spaces set along like quick math looks like 12 spaces. I have the board open on this page or on my screen. So you got 5 happening spaces across 12 spaces. And if you land on one of those happening spaces, anyone on those bridges will be sent back to start.
Oh,
Send them
like
away.
It's an
the start of
absolute
the board, or
clusterfuck.
like the
Yeah, the
start
start
of
of the
the?
board.
Jeez,
You,
it's
See,
you,
even
I
worse than
don't
being
like.
get your
ran
ass
Yeah.
over
sent
by
back
the
to
car in
start.
Spaceland.
But dude,
See,
the double fun part is on the last 5 turns when duels happen if 2 players land on the same space. If two
Oh
players
yeah.
get shot by those cannons, they go back to start and then they have to duel.
oh
What if
nice.
everybody's shot by those cannons? Is it like a 4-way duel?
Then I believe whoever landed on the whoever's turn it was when the happening space went off gets to choose who they want to duel.
Oh,
I believe that's how that works. It's been a
nice.
minute since I've played Mario Party 2.
Nice. But
What were
no,
you gonna say, Ethan?
no, I was just gonna say I like Mario Party bullshit, but I like when I'm in control. You know what I mean? I don't like bullshit lasers. I don't like stupid cannonballs. That's why you guys are saying, oh, Spaceland, Horrorland, my favorites in Mario Party Superstars. I personally am a fan of Yoshi's Comi Island because that's my favorite level. I don't even know what the real name
Oh,
of it is. It's the fucking Yoshi one.
I think it's
Where
Yoshi's Tropical Adventure.
Yoshi's
Tropical
Tropical
Adventure,
Island.
yeah, Tropical Island or something. Where
Dude, which fun
I
fact is
once
the first
ruined.
board of Superstars?
Genuinely, one of my favorite moments of all time is that game I absolutely ruined. It was turn one and I already ruined the game for everybody because I was like, I'm going all in on the coins
Everyone
on the
except for
thing.
Sam. Sam went over there and joined you.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
That was annoying.
dude,
I'm
that
like,
was
no,
one of
this
the
is my
dumbest
bit.
games of Mario Party I've ever played, but it was so funny in hindsight.
In hindsight, you were pissed in real time. You were
Yeah,
like,
he was
Oh, it was
not. He was
so
not
bad,
amused
but it
in
was
real time.
so
You were
funny,
so
dude.
annoyed.
yeah. But
Oh,
Mario
dude, I
Party, yeah,
really
like I
wish
say,
Superstars got DLC.
maybe it will. There's still time.
It
There's still
deserved it.
time.
Dude, it's not happening.
Maybe
It's
I
been
don't know.
over a year.
they'll
I'm
patch
still,
in a new
yeah.
board right before they make a new one.
In my heart of hearts, like 2023 is graveyard shift of Switch. It's like Zelda and nothing else. So it's like they've got to drag something out. They've got to bring something kicking and screaming. Why not DLC? Who knows? But anyway,
Well, that's what Mario Kart 8 is for.
true. But anyway, that's one definition of first fucking intro level in video games. Well, Hunter, do you have a
Dude, I
more?
promise.
All
I
right,
promise that is
so
my only oddball pick.
And you went first. The audience retention will fucking hate you for that. Like, comment,
Yeah,
subscribe.
fuck
Thank you
the
very much.
audience.
Anyway, Hunt.
So the first bit of Metal Gear Solid 2 takes place on a boat as well. So we're just gonna keep with the
Ooh,
nautical theme
boats.
here.
Okay.
Yo,
And yeah, so the tanker part of Metal Gear Solid 2 is just really solid because um basically all of them every room in that part of the game showcases like some new detail that the PS2 allows the game to do that you couldn't do in the other one. Like one
Mhm.
room is got some lockers for you to, choke out the guard and or break his neck and hide his body there. The next
Mhm.
room has it has like a because it's like still a functional boat with some things on it. It's got like silverware. It's a lounge or whatever in the background, and you can go like break that stuff to distract them. Like shoot it with your gun, and suddenly they'll be like, "Oh, what was that over there?" They're looking at who broke all these plates, etc. And it just keeps escalating that way, where it just hits you with more details as you go on, and then when you get near the end, there's like the big engine room is like this kind of it puts all that stuff together in a way where the rest of these rooms were pretty short. This one's bigger and it's got all of those elements blended together all nicely, and you got all that fun Kojima plot stuff uh pushing you forward to entice you to keep playing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Metal Gear 2 is just one of those games where I haven't played it because I haven't dipped my toe in the Metal Gear fucking, I don't know, well at this point, right? I haven't had a chance to. But it's one of those games from my
you should
childhood
play the
that I
first
remember my dad playing it vividly, and it's like it's just everything about it, right? It's like the rain and the boat scene, and it's
Dude,
just
the
like
shot of
everything.
Snake like on the boat with the
Yeah,
rain and all that, it's so good.
It's one of those things where it's like very rarely does a game kind of stick in my head in that way. Like as a kid, like it's like I remember playing Crash, but I don't have any like vivid images really of me playing it. It's because I keep playing it and keeping my nostalgia alive in a way where I'm like, I remember playing it, but I have like a few certain memories. Whereas like I can picture the intro to Metal Gear Solid 2, even though I've never played it, just because I remember watching my dad play it and sneak around and trying to figure out how everything works. It was just like one of
At
those things.
if at some stage of while we owned this, I think it was when I first like started trying to play it when I was in like, I don't know, first grade maybe. We didn't have a memory card at the time.
Hmm.
It I don't know what happened.
Oh,
So like
the classic.
The classic peasant
so
strats, yeah.
yeah. So I became very familiar with that tanker section.
Mhm.
Like for a long time before I ever saw the rest of the game, just because like, I was also a kid who, got kicked off of the system whenever someone else wanted it. So it was like, oh, I'll get a little further next time, be quicker about it, maybe. And
So
eventually I saw the end of it and the rest of the game.
fair play, fair
So
play. But
yeah.
no, good pick,
It's
good
just a
pick, good
really
pick.
well constructed level.
Oh, fair enough, fair enough. You see, I've got one, and it's a PS2 game, so we can
Yeah.
continue that link because we keep this linking up. But then I realized I have two here that are basically the same, like the exact same. So I'm going to talk
All
about
right.
both of them
All right.
because one of them is the generic. What is one of the generic? Oh, of course, Ethan was going to say that. So I'm going to use the other one to just say that I like this because there's nothing that I like more than a good like heist movie. I just like heists. There's just something good about heists. So the original pick here was Sly 3 because I was thinking because I've been playing Sly recently. I played Sly 1 a
Really?
couple of months ago. Played Sly 2 the other day. Great. The reason I love Sly 3, and it's in a similar vein to what was also on this list, is the obvious one, Persona 5. I really like the intro to Persona 5. Just because I like how it just drops you in. There's people you don't know, and it's like you're going through the heist, something goes wrong, and then you have the fucking flashback and you deal with it and you go to the present day. And I didn't
And then
realize
you
how
get beat up
similar
by
the
the
structure of
cops.
those two games
Yeah.
were.
Yeah. When you say it like that,
They're the
huh?
exact same. They are the exact same. They have the exact same intro and kind of the exact same kind of story progression, really, except
Same
Persona
kind of
5 kind of
vibes,
goes a bit
yeah.
further ahead with its story afterwards. But man, there's something about having kind of a bombastic introduction where it's like stakes are high already, you're going in and having this mystery of who are these people that I'm working with, what's going on, what's the idea here. And then it's just like I just love the idea of starting with like the final act and then going back. I just really like that idea for an intro. It's just a really
I
cool way of
do
doing it.
really like in medias res kind of setups when they're done nicely. It is really cool. Because then when you get to the
Mhm.
point where it like, when you're done with the flashback and you get there, it's also a hype moment. Like Persona, for example, again, like getting
Mhm.
caught up with everything was really cool.
And the thing about the Sly games especially was same with Sly 1 and 2 was they were already kind of in that kind of the narration was already kind of in that past tense kind of sense where all of the comic book scenarios were kind of so the intro ones were very much in the present, but it was like it's kind of almost recalling it from the Furious Raccoonist, right? As he's writing it down, it's like this is what happened and this is that. So going in that kind of flashback kind of moment of my life flashed before my eyes, and here we go, we'll go and see all the heists again. Is like
Mm.
it works already for Sly, and I just really love it, and it just makes me laugh how those two are both on my list, and I just didn't notice how they basically do have the same introduction and premise as they go in of having a big heist that ultimately goes wrong. Um, but I absolutely love it, and even though Sly 3 is definitely not my favorite of the Sly games, I do think it has the strongest intro because it's breaking onto an island with the Cooper Vault, whereas you look at the other ones, like Sly ones are just breaking into the police headquarters and someone shaking their fist at you, going "damn you," and then the other one is breaking into a museum which has already been stolen the night before and having someone shake their fist at you. So it's like out of the three, and the main trilogy. Sly 4 is also interesting, but you're also breaking into a museum again, so I feel like they just copied 2.
And then someone shakes their
So,
fist at
yeah,
you.
and someone does shake their fist at you. Yeah, it's like
Goldberg.
yeah. It's just I just love it. I just like having having characters that you don't know who they are and stuff like that. It's just fun. It's just good fun, and it, like you say, when you finally do get to that point, it's satisfying when you're like, oh, you get to, most of the time you get to play it again, and you're like, oh yeah, now I get it with the context. I get that this is this and that's that. So shout outs to Sly 3 and Persona 5 for being more similar than I thought they were, without even realizing it. Congratulations. Anyway,
Way
Kyle,
to
back to
go.
you.
Anyways, I guess I'll keep on with the PlayStation Nation block we got going on here.
Oh, you PlayStation shills.
Ethan?
Phil Spencer's shaking in his grave. God damn it. He's not dead, but
Ethan, I believe that we are too hard on Crash Bandicoot 2.
No,
as a
I think
video
it's
game.
shit.
I think
I'm just saying
think
this because you
that-
opened it earlier.
I
Yeah.
think that speedrunning this game has definitely tainted our vision to how well designed the game actually is.
No.
You know,
True. I still have a pretty good
disregarding all
time
of
with it.
the other problems we have with it,
Mhm.
like input dropping and the other stuff that I can't think of. That opening level,
Embedding.
that first embedding, that's another thing. Thank you, Hunter. Missing
Mhm.
boxes when you're doing a live tutorial, all the fun stuff.
Yeah.
The classic. Hunter sitting in my chat not saying, "Hey, you missed a box," until I get to the end of the level. The classics. But anyways, I digress. Turtle Woods is really cool.
Okay.
I think as a starting level for the kind of game that Crash Bandicoot 2 is,
He's gonna
with
have to
how
pitch this one
cryptic
real
its
hard,
secrets,
boys. He's gonna have to
with
pitch
how
it.
cryptic
See where you're coming
its
from, actually.
secret
He's gonna
levels
say
are.
zero gem, blue gem. Wow, that's what he's gonna say, aren't you? You're gonna say zero gem, which is pretty cool. I'm not
Well,
gonna lie.
yeah, because that's the secret.
Well, no, there's also the body slam
Well, yeah,
hole, but it's a good level.
but it's just like the idea that you'd have to run like multiple passes of the level to get everything on a casual playthrough. I think that's super cool, and how the game kind of like, it doesn't tell you the answer, but it just like hints at it, where after you get the box gem for the level, if you run through the level again and get to the end, you'll see that the box count is there, but it says however many boxes you broke out of 0, which gets you thinking, oh hey, maybe if I go through the level without breaking any boxes, which includes checkpoints, so you have to go through without dying, maybe I'll get something cool out of this.
No, that's
And
not how that
then-
works. That's not how
then
you
you-
work. That's how it works as you go. It says out of 0. Must be a fucking glitch. Walk away and then never return, and then find out 15 years later. Oh shit, there was another thing to do here. That's exciting, isn't it?
Was
The
that
more
your
you know.
experience?
I definitely played Crash Bandicoot 2, I think, before I entered school. So I don't think I was aware of what a glitch was, to be
Well, no,
fair.
I would have
so
just
I
been
would've-
like, oh, just weird, just not, don't know, not working. Whatever, move on. Wouldn't have ever tried it. No, because Crash 2 was the last Crash game that I played out of the original trilogy. So it was like I played Crash 3 first, then Crash 1, then Crash 2. So it's like it's the game that I played the least as a kid, by far. Which is funny now in retrospect, but no, it's a great
I
level.
do see
But I
where
think
you're
it's-
coming from, though. It encourages out-of-the-box thinking from the get-go as far as finding the secrets
yeah.
and such.
But then there's even other stuff. If you want to wrap the whole warp room in as like the intro, which I'm not, but if you wanted to, you've got red gem just out of reach up in Snow Go. You can't jump to it. However hard you try, you cannot get it. Unless
at
you're
all.
a cheaty speedrunner. But then
See,
there's
yeah.
also the blue gem platform in Hang 8. How if you don't have the blue gem, you can't go there. So it's that whole encouraging multiple replays of a level to get everything.
You see, that
'Cause you're
encouraged
locked out
me
of the
to
box
go,
gem without
well,
the
I don't
blue
know what
gem.
the fuck to do here. Guess I'm any percent in this. And then there we go. It's
Oh my
Crystal Run
God.
only, guys. That's what it is. That's how that works. I guess is my problem with Crash 2 is it's great at what it does. Where it's like explore, pique your curiosity. Look, here's a red gem that's slightly out of reach. Look, out of zero. Oh look, a blue gem path. But the thing is it plays all its cards in the first warp room, and there's nothing in the
You think
rest of the
so?
game that explores your curiosity. Because every other quote unquote puzzle in this video game is there's somewhere where you need to stand that will warp you. Like, because that's the puzzle to everything else. Where, you know, zero gems, cool, you have to figure out a path. Red gems, like, I wonder what that is. Gonna have to figure out a way later. Every other solution is there's nitros that aren't bouncing, so you have to jump on them. There's a platform over there that's in the middle of the water. Go and jump on that. There's a platform over there in the water. Go and jump on that. There's a platform over there. They do that shit like 3 times.
I wonder if I
and
can
it's
jump
like,
past this gap that the polar bear
the
just
polar.
launched me over.
I feel like it's really cool, but I also wish that it's almost like they made it with the intention of being like, oh yeah, we'll get them to pique their curiosity, make them think outside of the box.
Yeah.
And then they were like,
It's the idea
and now
of
when we
like
design the rest of
getting
the
them
game,
to
we're gonna
explore in a
think in the
platformer.
box. Yeah, I think that's the only problem with it. Is it kind of sets up something that you like think brain power that's not required later on. But it's still a
Yeah, I
good
can see
level. I'm not
that.
taking that away from it.
Yeah.
But Warp 1 is very much playing all of its tricks at once, if that makes sense. It's like,
I
That's
guess,
it.
yeah.
it's still great. I'm not going to deny that. Anyway, Hunter,
Thanks for the approval, Ethan.
you're welcome.
I guess the next I'll go with the first hour and a half or so of Final Fantasy IX is like the most palatable intro to an RPG I've ever played. So it's just really well paced, and I think that's what helps it out. You start off as like you're this theater troupe infiltrating the castle town of Alexandria under the
course.
guise of you're performing this annual play that's I don't know, something from the universe that I can't remember the name of. To
Did that every
and
week,
while
yeah.
while that's going on, you're also trying to kidnap Princess Garnet.
As you do.
Yeah, as you do. Uh, is was it's just really solid as far as they managed to set up the points of intrigue really well. Like Zidane and his buddies all have a fun little chemistry with each other. Um, Garnet actually wants to leave, so she just goes along with the kidnapping thing.
Mhm.
It all goes sideways eventually when, Queen notices, "Oh, they took my daughter." Attack. Um, oh, something like this. Yeah, so after that, there's, like, you crash land in the woods, and, um, Garnet actually gets yoinky-sploinked by some, like, evil plants or something.
The classic.
Yeah, the classic. So then after that, Zidane's like, "Hey, I can't just leave her out to dry. I gotta go get her." And for some reason, his theater troupe boss man thief person is like, "Well, if you do that, you're kicked out of the group." And he's like, "Okay, bye." And his one buddy's It's funny
Keep
because
going.
Kyle's played this part of the game at least, so he's just listening
I
to my
have.
summary.
This is
By
all
all means,
accurate so far.
contribute when you feel like I missed something.
I was just gonna say, like one thing I'd add is that when you're back in Alexandria's castle town, I really like that it shows off all of like a lot of the major players in the story. That you're also introduced to Vivi and Steiner as well.
Oh yeah, while you're like conducting your whole like grabbing Garnet and stealing her thing, you're being pursued by the knight captain, who is hilariously bad at his job up until he ends up being on the ship with you as it crashes and joins up with you because when Garnet gets taken by the evil plants, and Vivi is just he's the black mage kid that he was watching the play and he just kind of was a victim of circumstance.
Dude, poor Vivi.
I know, man. That's like the moral of Final
This man
Fantasy IX's
just wanted to
story.
watch a show. He just
Alas.
wanted to watch a play. That's it.
So yeah, Zidane leaves his theater buddies behind to go with Steiner and Vivi to rescue Garnet. It's all they destroy like the I don't know plant core thing, and it makes everything go
Plant Brain, I
haywire.
think it was called.
Yeah, it makes everything go haywire, and the forest starts like turning to stone, and it looks like they're not gonna get out. And then Zidane's one, Zidane's one theater buddy, it helps them escape at the last second, but oh no, he gets stuck himself, and it's all very upsetting.
Pour one out
And
for Senna.
it was blank actually.
Ah, I had a 50-50 shot. I knew it wasn't Marcus.
Yeah, it was not Marcus, but yeah, I just think that's all really solidly done. The last time I played it, I remembered being like, oh, I forgot how quickly this all went by because that is only like the first hour and a half, and that's a lot of stuff that happens
Mm,
all in there, and it's set up in a way that doesn't feel rushed. Like I felt like everything was natural. I did feel kind of bad for Blank when he got petrified, even though we'd only known him for a little bit and so on. And it manages to set up, points of intrigue going forward and all that as well. So,
mhm.
Final Fantasy IX is a
Yeah,
really
I'm
good game.
I'm not the biggest fan of 9, but I do really like its hit the ground running intro.
I can't
I
wait
think
for the
that's a really
remake.
strong selling point of the game.
Yeah, I think it's one of the reasons. Like honestly, I think Nine's a really good one to start like people who are who are interested in the
Mm.
series to
Mm,
play. Because it is like starts off
yeah,
interesting and remains intriguing, and the character dynamics are really good. As opposed to like
the
I don't know,
battle music
10
is a
starts off.
jam.
Yeah, the battle music is a jam. 10 by comparison, just for example, starts off really slow, and you get like
10 is
Titus, and
miserable.
you get Titus, and then like one other person who just happens to be a revolving door for like the first 2 hours.
God, 10 was miserable, dude.
Yeah, at the beginning anyway, it wasn't the best. So yeah, Final Fantasy IX's beginning is really that's
Fair
that's my
enough.
thoughts.
Fair enough. I am not gonna lie to you. I did try my hardest to blank out a lot of what you said, and not because I don't appreciate you. It's because I know one day if they do ever remake it, or one day I'll just give up and we'll play the fucking remastered version on PS4 or whatever. But I do plan on playing 9 at some point because that's the other one that people don't shut the fuck up about. Is it's always been 7 and it's always been 9. So I was kind of ignoring you, but out of love
You
because I
hear
was
more
just
people
like,
talk about 9 than you do 6. That's interesting.
yeah, because I don't care about the old, like, I don't care about anything pre-7 because, I'm a normie, guys. Like, get that shit
Alright,
out of
fair
here,
enough.
bro.
But
SNES? Fucking no.
if you do have to resort to just
Sorry, I just
playing
want to make Kyle sad. Don't mind me.
if you
Ethan
do have
hates
to
me.
resort to just playing the PS4 version, at least that one has the 900 or 9999 cheat code
Yeah, it's got the built-in cheats
Yeah,
that you toggle
yeah,
with the sticks,
and super
yeah.
speed, all
and
that good
also,
stuff.
I will. And hey, if
it's
that if
available for
that if
free.
that whatever leak was it the Nvidia leak that said Final Fantasy 9 remake or whatever, I wouldn't be surprised if they were making it. To be honest, everything else on that leak was real, including Kingdom Hearts 4, and everyone was like, "Yeah, it's a bit early for that." So
It's gonna
I
be
just
what
believe
the Final
everything.
Fantasy 16 team's project is when they're done with
Maybe,
16.
maybe. I did want to give a shout out to be fair because I did put FF7R on here for its first mission.
I thought about
Mm,
like in general the
And the
bombing
reason
mission in
yeah,
either of version.
the reason that I put that first mission from Remake in is because it turns someone like me, who doesn't give a shit about Final Fantasy in the slightest, never have, and never really intended to ever play a Final Fantasy game. I played the demo because they put the demo out on the PlayStation Store a couple of weeks before the game came out. Actually, I think it was like January before the game came out in April.
yeah, they
It was pretty
did.
early. And I remember playing that demo because I was like, no harm in playing the demo, right? So this was before the podcast. And I booted up that demo, and never before has a first mission ever sold me so much on a game. I played that first mission. I think I played through it twice, to be honest. I played through that first mission, and then I instantly went to wherever I went and pre-ordered it from, and pre-ordered it instantly, and was like, "Yeah, well, see you in April. I'm playing that." It's just so good. It's just like everything about that intro mission just sells you on what it is.
Yeah,
Like,
the vibes
entirely.
in that part are immaculate. Like the music they got for that part, real good.
Dude, it's just like it hits everything, you know. You have the nostalgia with the intro cutscene and all of that jazz, and Cloud on the train, and doing the flip off of the back of the train and all that stuff. And then you just get into it, and it's non-stop action and people talking, and it's just like you have these characters around you, and you're like, oh my god, they're saying such stupid shit. I love it. Like you've just got Barrett, who is genuinely just default Mr. T, and you're like, yes, I love you. You're incredible. And it's just like you just got this cast of characters around you who are great. You've got this soundtrack that's just booming and doesn't quit for the entirety of this first hour of a mission. And it's just like, again, it's one of those missions where it's like turns up the pace instantly, break in, get the fuck out, job done. And it's just like, I love it. It's so well done. And yeah, that game has slow points in it. It never really. I don't think there ever really is a point in that game again where I felt that level of kind of intense hype. Because
the the
Mm.
I don't remember which chapter it is now, but like the plate stuff, I would say.
see, even then,
Was
I didn't
pretty
feel like
intense.
that way. I was
Oh.
like, no, because that stupid fucking battle. What was that stupid battle that I can't remember the name of?
With
No, it's in a different section.
Reno?
Yeah, no, that is fucking awful. No, not that fight. Is it that fight? No,
The
it's
one
not
at the
Reno.
I was thinking the
Reno
one
at
at
the
the top
top.
with
No, that
Reno
wasn't
and
that bad.
Rude.
No, that wasn't that bad. I was thinking of earlier where, because there's another moment where you break into the other Mako reactor and you've got that stupid fucking robot on the bridge. Awful
Oh,
fight.
yeah.
Garbo
was-
fight. But I don't ever feel like it ever lives up to that kind of like excitement, because it's like, yeah, when the thing's breaking, I'm like, oh shit, here we go, shit's going down, and I'm like, I'm into it, but I was never like properly like into it again. It just like instantly locked me in. I was like, oh hell yeah. And there's still moments that I absolutely love. It's not my favorite moment in the game. There are still chapters that I love more, like the whole wall marker section I fucking adore, and there are places later. I think chapter 3 and chapter is it 7? Which one's Erish chapter? Is Erish chapter 7? Just like the side quest chapters.
7 sounds right, because Wall Market was like 9 or something.
Yeah, so it's like, all the side quest chapters with all those like bits of story and character development, even in the side people, it's just like all that stuff's so good, but like that bombastic intro is just instantly sold me on it. And I'm really hoping that like whatever Rebirth has, it lives up to like those kind of epic moments. I'm hoping that there's an epic moment that they come up with that isn't that everyone's just sitting on with bated breath. We all know what we're going into Rebirth for. we all know what we're going in for. But also I hope there's some things that are new and just even new ways of looking at it, right? Because it's like, yeah, that first section of Final Fantasy VII, the base game, it's in there and it's cool, but there was just something about that mod and like kind of bombastic like we've spent way too much money on this video game vibe. It kind of gave me what I was hoping I was going to get from the start of Kingdom Hearts 3, if that makes sense, where Kingdom Hearts 3's intro is a slog and boring, and I'm like, where's the fun? I was like, where's the trailer fun? I saw so much fun in the trailer, where is that? And I feel like 7 delivers on it instantly. It's just like
Yeah.
It scratches that itch in my monkey brain of I want the cool gameplay, and it gives it you instantly. And you're like, yes, don't have to wait for it for 6 years like in every other fucking video game. Just feel cool instantly. Love it. Anyway, back to you, Kyle.
All right. So my next one, we're going back to the classics. Good old Mega Man X on the Super
damn.
Nintendo.
Good game.
Yeah, I know.
Good game.
It is a good game. I've never beaten it, actually. Fun fact. I
Neither
can't get
have
past
I.
the Sigma stages at the end.
Neither am I,
Yeah,
but are you
well,
shocked
that's what I
about
expect
that?
from you.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Are you
No.
shocked? If anything, you should be giving me a round of applause for having played any of it, to be honest. It's like, oh, well done, he's played a Mega Man game. Yeah, he's well done. This guy's figured it out.
Have you?
Yeah, I've played a bit of X.
He just said he played some of it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Not
epic.
much. not much of X, but I played enough of it to go, this is good. I should get back to it at some point, and then wave goodbye to it. Like, it's that scene from Toy Story 3. It's like, bye. As they drive off into the sunset with Banjo and Kazooie and just never being played again.
If you take all of the other games that Ethan said, this is good, I should get back to it creates the other scene a few minutes before that.
Do you know what's funny, Hunter? I realized that, like, when was it? Was it 2 years? It was basically 2 years ago, right? When Greg Miller started playing Persona 5 Royal again, and he stopped at Palace 2, and I was clowning him on this podcast, and I realized the other day that in my Persona 5 Royal playthrough that I stopped playing in November to play God of War, I stopped at the exact same moment he did, and I was like, you know what?
The difference here being that you've beat the game before.
Yeah, but it's also one of those things where I'm just like, you know what? I chat shit a lot. I'll be like, this person didn't finish this and that. I'm so bad when it comes to finishing games. Like, I do have to lock in, or I just wave goodbye to it, and I'm like, yeah, see you later. Guess I'll never finish you. It's a shame, man. It's a shame. One day. But anyway, yes, I have played Mega Man X.
Stuff you've missed
and
out
it's a good stuff. Yeah, but that's the problem with video games. It's just like, there's too much good stuff. There's too much good stuff.
It's true. Video games should just stop being good.
I always say, people always say they should take a year off, but I also can guarantee that if games took a year off, I wouldn't go back and play all the good games I've missed. I would just also take a year off and then go, oh, the games are bad. Anyway.
What psychopath is saying video games should take a year off?
Oh, you hear it all the time.
I don't trust that person.
Too much time on Twitter. That's what I'm saying. If my New Year's resolution, I feel New Year's resolution, get the fuck off Twitter. I feel like that's a great one. I feel like maybe it's a shame I use it too much for I use it too much for like the show, unfortunately. But if I could,
you can just schedule those and then
no, I mean to keep on topic so that if there's stuff that I need to know.
Yeah.
God, Hunter. I'm not that fucking desperate where I'm like, I need attention. I must publish these tweets live. Anyway, Kyle, Mega Man X, it's a great game. Its intro level is also pretty fantastic.
Its intro level kicks so much ass, dude. There's no story build up or anything. It just drops you into this like abandoned highway stage with a kick-ass guitar riff playing in the background. You got the slick new Mega Man X design. Looks so much smoother, nowhere near as clunky as Mega Man Classic looks.
He's a dork. Can we talk about this? Like, if someone has no nostalgia for Mega Man, like Mega Man base Mega Man is like,
yeah,
he feels like a school kid that got bullied. Like he's got his protective helmet on so that the bullies, if they push him down, he can bounce back up. Don't like it. Mega Man X is pretty cool.
Got the arm cannon because he's a big fan of Samus.
Yeah, dude. He literally does. He looks like the nerdy elementary school kid that's cosplaying as Samus, dude. That's exactly what it is. And it's like he's got his bicycle helmet on and everything. He's having the time of his life. You go, Mega Man. You go, buddy. Have fun. I do like original Mega Man games. It's just the design's very 80s. Which, I mean, also, let's just say, Mega Man X's design is also very 90s. But as someone who was born in the late 90s, I relate to that slightly more than 80s.
Zero's still the coolest character in the series.
That's not hard.
Dude, Zero is fucking dope, and he gets introduced in this first stage. You see him right at the end. He comes in and saves your ass from Purple Boba Fett.
Oh,
I can't remember what his actual name is right now.
Being my favorite character in Mandalorian.
I actually don't remember what his... It's not Sigma, that's the... I don't remember what his name is. I've never beaten this game.
One of those? Is that one?
No, Base is Mega Man Classic.
I'm not a scientist.
He's the one with the black armor with like a robot dog.
Vile. And by the way, I just want to say that I just typed in Mega Man X and the letter P, and the first thing that came up was Purple Guy. So thank you, everybody. I appreciate the team effort.
Oh, nah, dude, this level, like, everything about it, it just, like, it sets the tone perfectly for this game, and it sets it apart enough from Mega Man Classic, where it it deserves to like stand. It shows that it deserves to stand on its own as its own series, and instead of just being more Mega Man. Because like you would never see Mega Man Classic doing this beforehand. And honestly, I haven't tried X2 or X3 yet, or really any of the other X games, but X1 just
I
it
think the one
nails
I've
its
played is
intro.
X4.
Ooh,
X4,
ooh,
that's
that's
an
the
interesting one.
It's the
that's
one
what
with
am
the
I
funny
fighting
scene at the
for?
end. Yeah. I don't remember why that's the one, but that's the one I played.
Of course.
I think it was like back when the PS3 was still the active console. They were doing one of those like
Oh, like an
PlayStation Classic.
anniversary thing.
They were doing one of those PlayStation Classics sales, and wow, I picked up like a bunch.
Ah,
I think
Mm.
I just went. I think I just went ham on the Capcom stuff at the time. I picked up like Resi 2, Dino Crisis 2, Mega Man, and I think it was that was the one. So
I like how
yeah,
you were
I
like
think
you're getting on a 2 spree, you're like Resident Evil 2, Dino Crisis 2, which Mega Man should
I
I
said I
get?
would
4. 2 plus 2 equals 4, guys. Let's think about that. Think about it, guys. Big math time.
obviously,
Your mum was like, you can only buy these games if you do some maths at the same time, Hunter. You're like, okay, mom, 2 plus 2 equals 4.
but yeah, so
quick
that's
maths.
the one I played. I can't really remember all that much about it except for the funny scene at the end. But,
I honestly don't think I know anything about 4 either, except the funny scene.
yeah.
I don't even know
That's
the funny scene. I'm too uncultured. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I'll share it with you when we're done recording.
You think I'll be awake? That's funny. That's cute.
It's a
That's
10-second clip, Ethan.
You think I have 10 seconds? I've got too many things to be doing. Anyway, Mega Man X is fantastic.
It is.
It's always great. And it just always makes me laugh.
But you know what
how
else
it's
is
like,
fantastic?
What? What else is fantastic?
I was gonna segue,
The
but
Hunter's next game?
if you were
I was just
saying
gonna say Mega
things,
Man. I was just gonna say
yeah,
Mega Man's fantastic and it's available everywhere, and they make a fucking collection every 2 years of every single fucking game. It's like
this is true.
they'll just keep doing it. They'll just keep making collections
I
on
think
collections.
I think Mega Man X is available on SNESflix on the Switch.
Oh, nice. I never used that.
Nice.
Me either.
I
I
should.
think I
Very
used to
rarely.
play Super Metroid once, and that's it.
I
Yeah.
used to play some of Donkey Kong Country 2 for a little bit last year.
Anyway, moving on.
Dude,
Hunter.
I don't like Donkey Kong Country.
That's
Yeah.
not the time for this. Move on. Hunter.
All right.
No, I'm
Resident
just
Evil
sharing my opinion.
Resident Evil 4's introduction is really, really good. Man,
Ooh.
I'm sure I'll get to talk about this in a few months again,
No.
but as it
They'll have completely
exists,
changed it. They'll have completely changed it.
I mean, fair enough if they have, but as it exists, Leon's going to investigate this, President's daughter got kidnapped, and he's going to investigate this rural, suspicious Spanish village, essentially.
I just love that. I love how it's like the president's daughter has been kidnapped, and they're like, I've got a good idea. It's got to be this remote, like Spanish-looking fucking village, guys. Like, it's got to be there. It's got to be there.
I don't remember. I think the backstory was she was like abroad in Spain somewhere, and that's when she got kidnapped. I don't remember exactly. Don't quote me on that part.
I just
That
think it's
was in,
like, okay, guys, the fog's there, and we are in the world of Resident Evil. They've got to be there, guys. Get to work.
The
Get to
fog is
work.
in Silent Hill. It's the wrong series, Ethan.
No, but whenever well, I was trying to talk about like the FOV because of the PS2, dude. It's always looking fucking grayscale in that game.
Yeah, fair enough.
I know
But,
it's silent. I know what Silent Hill is. But also Silent Hill's in America. That's not Spain. Anyway. Spain
Good
and
job,
America,
Ethan.
different countries. That's your fun fact of the day with
the
with
more you know.
HGO.
Look at that. We're giving you math and geography lessons.
2 plus 2 is 4. America and Spain, not the same. Right. Say it with me, class. America and Spain, not the same.
Are
Good
not
job.
the same.
Good job. Anyway,
So anyway, it's just this really nice slow build up where it starts off, Leon gets out of the car and tells these other two cops, these like local cops, to stay behind and that he'll go check it out. You come across one villager who very angry to see an outsider. He tries to
mm,
like hatchet Leon's face off and Leon shoots him for his truffles. And then, you encounter a couple more guys on your way to like the central hub area. You save a dog from a bear trap if you're not a monster.
Yay.
Um, and then
But can you pet the dog?
no.
yeah, I don't remember if he does, but the dog comes back to help you later. Um,
Good dog.
and then when you get to like the, central village area there, eventually someone spots you and just everything, you know, goes awry. And it's just this you're basically just mad dashing to kind of shoot everyone and stay alive. Eventually Mr. Chainsaw, or no, it's not Mr. Chainsaw. It's the Chainsaw Sisters, I believe, will be what's in that
Ah,
first part.
the
um,
Chainsaw Sisters.
yeah, the ones. That'll
Yeah.
be in that first part. So even though, Resident Evil 4, you're a bit more mobile and all that than in the old games or older games, it's still being the ability to be insta-killed
Mhm.
leaves some tension there. And you just survived for long enough and they all just stop and walk off because this bell starts tolling in the distance and you're like, what's up with that?
Mm.
As you go on to investigate, the rest village and try to find the president's daughter.
No, fair enough. I'm really looking forward to Resident Evil 4 remake. Not from a gameplay
Me
perspective, because
too,
I ain't
dude.
touching that shit with a 10-foot pole, bro. Not happening. But
Dude, you should.
I'm too much of a wuss, dude. I own so
Branch
many
out,
Resident Evil
dude.
games, and I'm just like, no, I don't think I will. I genuinely would be scared. It's like with the whole PSVR 2 version of Resident Evil 8. I would genuinely be scared that I'd put that shit on and I would have a heart attack and just fucking collapse and die, and that's it. Like, my gravestone will read, "He was a pussy." Like, that'll be it. Like, he's dead. Like, it'll be like,
So maybe not the
he was
VR
like,
version, but
couldn't handle Lady Dimitrescu, bro. Fucking
I
rest in
think
peace.
I I think you would be able to handle the regular Resident Evil 8,
Yeah, probably.
to
Probably,
be
but
fair.
I'm not a jump scare fan. This is the thing is I don't mind creepy atmosphere. I don't like creepy vibes. I'm perfectly fine if I just know that something isn't going to jump out at me. That's fine. If something's going to creepily like walk up to me or whatever and perfectly fine with that. But I'm not a jump scare guy. Not a jump scare guy.
That's fair.
I think it's because when I was young, do you remember that old internet video of like the hills with the like zombie jump scare? Have you ever seen it? It was
Yeah.
like a viral. It was like one
The
of
old
the first like
streamer
viral videos on
videos.
the internet. Yeah, someone showed me that in like primary school or whatever when we were like 8 years old, 7 years old or whatever, and it scared me so fucking much. And I had nightmares about it. It's just like that's it. Jump scares were dead to me at the age of like 7. Like no, scarred for life. Not happening. This is also the person I had nightmares for weeks about Doctor Who, so I was prime target audience for being scared when I was younger. So no, not for me. But I am looking forward to seeing how they do change it up. What's the same? What's different? Is it more faithful because it's RE4, or are they gonna, what are they gonna do to it? It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be a fun discussion.
I can't wait to find out.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm looking forward to it. Someone
Yeah.
who's never played Resi 4 and only
Mm,
just got into the series last year. I'm really looking forward to it.
You
no,
picked a good time to start.
you did choose a good
I
time to
did.
start.
Like
It's gonna be.
if you had decided like, I don't know, 4, maybe 5 years ago that this was the time to get into Resident Evil, you might have been a little left hung out to dry, but
I think it's gonna be interesting
this
though,
was
because it's like after this, we don't really know where Resident, because it's like we've known about so many games in Resident Evil for so long, where it's like I think even since Resident Evil 2 remakes release back in 2020, was it 2020 or
19.
2019, right?
2019.
I feel like ever since the Resident Evil 2 remake, we've known that there was a 3 remake in development, that 8 was in development, and there was rumblings of Resident Evil 4 also getting a remake in the future. So it's like, I feel like we've known about the past 3 games for literally like nearly like half a decade,
Forever.
it feels like. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it feels
Hmm.
weird to not have the next one leaked, because it feels like we've had the next 3 games leaked forever in Resident Evil terms, and they've all been coming
Yeah.
out back to back to back to back. So to have
It'll
nothing
be
in the
interesting
future,
to see what they
yeah,
do next at
it's
some
exciting.
point. too,
Yeah.
Let's just hope it's not a drought. Or
Yeah.
too much of a drought. Maybe a year off's good, but like don't make it
Yeah,
two.
I wouldn't be upset
Yeah.
if they took a couple years off of the series
Mhm.
after Resi 4. Maybe even just, I don't know, come up with some DLC nonsense to support the remake if you care. Because, like,
Yeah.
Mercenaries mode was popular in that game. And it had, like, and all the versions of Resident Evil 4 had, like, 7 million different Ada sub scenarios. It was
I do definitely.
silly.
I definitely feel they will have a break, especially because it's like the next game will probably be will be Resi 9, right? That'll probably be next.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Because
you would
I'm
think
sure
so.
they've loved printing this remake money, but now they don't. If they did 5 and 6, they'd actually have to go to work and do something about it. So it's like they'd
Yeah.
be like, "Oh, this is hard now.
Yeah.
We'd have to turn a mediocre game as in 5 good, or in 6 a bad game good." And it's like, "Oh God, like what are we gonna do here, bro? Better keep the volcano in. Keep the volcano in, guys." That was
Keep
that
Chris
was a winner.
Redfield punching a boulder in a volcano,
That was
please.
a winner. That was a
Ye-
winner.
You cannot get rid of that.
You can't. It's
That's too
iconic.
iconic.
Absolutely iconic.
But yeah, it's either Resi 5 remake or Code Veronica remake, I believe. That would be next.
Who knows what they'll do? Who knows? I'm looking at the rest of my list, and I'm just gonna very quickly say this off because I feel like I've beaten the gameplay horse to death. Where it's like I just like getting into it. I like getting the meat straight into it. Marvel Spider-Man and Miles Morales, both of them. I love how there's literally like a 40-second cutscene and bing bang, you Spider-Man, he's swinging already. Love that.
Doing
Good
the
shit.
swings. Yeah.
Yeah, good shit. Love that. Don't need a exorbitant 1-hour cutscene where you tell me that I'm Spider-Man. No, let me swing. Let me shoot webs. Let me punch up some bad guys. Love it. Great. I also love the Rhino chase scene in Miles Morales. It's particularly great. I love it.
Mm.
The mall scene, excellent. But where Jameson, when you go into Jameson's office and he's dressed
that
as
was
Santa,
so good.
and that's the only time you actually see him in the game. Brilliant. Love it. Absolutely great. Anyway, I'm not gonna. I'll go along the fucking hunter line, the emotion, the atmosphere, the blah de blah de blah de blah. The original, it's fitting. The HBO show's out. Last of Us. The first hour of The Last of Us
yeah.
is something that I had spoiled in 2013. I knew about that. Has it been long enough? I feel like it's bad because the HBO show is literally out this week. So I'm like, I don't know if I want to say it's been 10 years, but also I'm like, it's like, oh no, this will be out the day after. It's fine. It'll be out the day after because it's out on Sunday. Fuck it, right? It's fine. Sarah's death in The Last of Us is something that I feel like everybody knew, like people experienced, and like it was just one of those kind of it's on the same level as the Final Fantasy VII spoiler, where it's like if you've been around on the internet for long enough, you've heard about this scene or you've heard about it, right? You've seen the behind the scenes footage or you've seen something,
Or even if you've just looked at the box art when you got the game.
Yeah. And it's just like, it's such an emotional kind of roller coaster where even having known for like 8 years that was what happened, I still wasn't emotionally prepared for it when I played through The Last of Us the first time, where you're just like, man, is it heavy, and it's just like, it just punches you in the face, to be honest. Because like I say, when you start The Last of Us, if I didn't know, I was probably under the assumption of they weren't even going to touch the pandemic. I just thought they'd hop straight into it. So the fact that they show, Joel kind of on the final day of the regular world, and it's his birthday, which I also think is majorly ironic. It's one of those that's like such like a cliche.
Something I often forget.
Yeah, because
just unlucky.
Because his daughter Sarah wakes him up to give him his present, and I'm like, that's handy because the world's gone to shit in 5 hours, so handy that you woke him up at midnight to do whatever. So it's like you have this kind of you play as Sarah, which I think is a brilliant choice, to be honest. To be thrown into basically an apocalypse unprepared and feel like you can do nothing about it. Great way of doing that is having you initially play as her walking around the house and stuff like that, being confused, not knowing what's going on. The bit with the neighbor where he busts through the window, I'm like, fucking hell, that got me. That was one that was like, it's not a terrible jump scare, but I liked it. It was that was a subtle one. I don't mind those ones if they're not in my face, Hunter. It's all right. If it's not in my face, it's fine.
All right.
Just don't like him in my grill. Don't like it. Not a fan. But it's just the whole atmosphere of that, the drive, and you just learn stuff about Joel, and there's the people on the side of the road, and he's just like, he's very, not selfish really, but it's like he's very much just focused about him and his tribe, and that's about it, right? Joel's like, leave him with like the world's fucked, just like farmhouse is burning, drive past it, people on the side of the road, keep going. There's a massive traffic jam. We'll drive around it because we're not fucking waiting in this. We need to get the fuck out of here, right? You learn so much about him, and then to have that, have that death scene and have that kind of emotional moment. It's so fucking. It just hits you, dude. And then the guitar and all of it. It's there's something about the intro of The Last of Us where I'm like, I don't like the rest of the game as much as everybody else likes the rest of the game, because then the gameplay starts and you're like, oh, fucking hell, if I have to carry
like, oh,
one
shoot.
more ladder or one more wooden pallet, I'm gonna fucking
If I have to float Ellie across the water one more time.
Yeah. But man, it's such a good intro to a story in a world, and it's just like I say. And I
extra knife twist that Sarah gets killed by regular people and not even like
I love that as well. No, I love that as well because again, you see this moment and you can see how it shaped Joel, right? You can see how the kind of doesn't give a fuck kind of selfish human being that Joel is, right? This kind of person where humans are not necessarily tools to him, but he's like, he doesn't give a shit. There's no emotional attachment to anybody. He's kind of segregating himself off emotionally from the rest of the world. He has a couple of people in his life that he cares or did care about, right? He has Tommy, who he's kind of gotten estranged to in the past couple of years. He has Tess, who's his partner. But there's not really much to him, and you can kind of see that from him, though. Literally regular people killed his daughter, so he fucking hates everybody. Like, he's like, and he just has to live with it. And the whole opening up with Ellie and stuff like that, all that shite that everyone's talked to death about, great. But that intro especially, it's very good. I can't wait for the normies to react to that on Sunday. It's going to be a very fun experience for me personally.
Yeah.
I'm sure, because I know my parents are going to watch The Last of Us show. I might watch it. We'll see. I've heard good things, but it's just, I'm ready to watch the normies have their heartbreak. It'll be great. And it's not going to get any happier for them. Anyway.
I know, that's the best part. It's like being the nerd who's read the manga of the really depressing anime before it airs.
It's like knowing people are like, it's like knowing that there's a whole episode about thingy. What's his name? The guy that has the town, right? The town with all the booby traps. I can't remember his name. God, can't remember.
Bill.
Booby trap Tommy.
Is it Bill? Yeah, it's Bill's town, right?
Yeah, Bill.
Yeah, I thought it was Bill, but I was like something in my head. But yeah, just knowing that they're doing a whole episode on that and they're going into his backstory, and then having read the notes in the game and knowing what that story is, I'm like, oh god, people are like, it's gonna be fucking sad. Like, I already know it's like, oh god, that's gonna be depressing as fuck. Can't wait. It's gonna be fun. But no, great intro. Anyway, moving on. Kyle, sorry. How many more do you guys have, by the way?
Counting this one, I have 3.
I can move mine down to 3.
I've got like 4, but also 2 of them are kind of samey. So
well, there you go then. Perfect. Anyway, Cal.
All right, perfect. So
perfect.
I do not like Sonic the Hedgehog. I think his games are shit. All of them.
I think you're uncultured.
Everyone I've played, I think, is shit. I think you're dumb.
No, Sonic Heroes is an incredible video game. I love it when you boot the game up and then that drum beat starts and what comes up must come down and then hell yeah,
I
Sonic
mean, yeah, that
Heroes.
intro song is a bop.
And then you've got the menu music that's super fucking happy, and I'm like, oh, this is sick. And then you pick Team Sonic and you load in, and you've got that weird cutscene that are a bit too high quality for a PS2 game at times. I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? And then you load into the
really
game,
were.
and then you realize that Stinky, you have the PS2 version and it runs like ass, and you're like, this is a great video game, fun time. I love it. It's good. That's my only Sonic experience, because that's the only Sonic game other than the racing ones that I've ever played. So hooray! Anyway, sorry, Cal.
Well, unfortunately, we're not here to talk about Sonic Heroes.
Oh,
We're here to talk about Sonic Adventure 2, like every other YouTube channel has on the planet.
Fuck's sake, bro! Sonic Adventure is one of those games.
I can't help it.
Sonic Adventure is one of those games that I like. Almost, it's like third party hate. It's like I haven't even seen a fucking second of this game, but people are so noisy about it that I'm like, join me in the hater crowd, dude. I'm just headed over there to prove a point because I'm sick of hearing about Sonic Adventure 2. But convince me,
dude.
Kyle,
Trust me, I don't like this game either. I think it's very average. I think all Sonic games are average, like I said at the start of this segment. But goddamn, City Escape kicks ass.
Is that the skate? Sorry, I was trying to unmute my mic because I was going to take a drink. Is that the skateboard bit down the fucking hill? Like...
That is the skateboards bit
okay, yeah,
down
that's the
San
one.
Diego.
That's the only one thing that I've seen about Sonic Adventure, other than fucking Big the Cat's fishing or whatever. Those are the only two things I know about that game.
Sonic Adventure 1.
Yeah, Sonic,
that was Sonic Adventure 1.
Yeah, those two, well, they're the same to me, Kyle. They are the same to me.
That's true.
All Sonic games are the same to someone who doesn't know any better.
No, but yeah, the Sonic Adventure games, like, in my mind, they occupy the same little minute fraction of it. And those are the only two things I know about Sonic Adventure 1 and 2.
That's fair.
But it is pretty cool.
No,
and the truck for chasing
City
you, sick. Sick moment.
Like, the level's split into, like, 3 distinct segments. You got the snowboarding down, or I guess not even snowboarding, just, like, it's basically snowboarding. Who gives a shit? Where you're just shredding down the streets of what is essentially San Diego, away from the military.
Hell yeah!
Because Sonic got arrested. Then once that bit's over, you go into this cool little platforming segment in like back alleys of San Francisco. I'm bouncing back and forth between San Francisco and San Diego because, again, to the outsider, it's all the same.
No, it's definitely San Fran. It's definitely San Fran. It's definitely San Fran. Anyway, Carol.
It's definitely San Fran. Wherever Full House was shot, that's where it is.
Only San Francisco has hills like that where you could shred the gnar down there with the military. So,
Exactly.
Classic San Fran. Anyway.
Classic San Francisco. So yeah, you got this little platforming segment to get used to how Sonic controls. And then when you're out of that, the truck chase starts, which, again, absolute iconic moment from the game. I feel like with a lot of Sonic games, they play their best hand first and really just start with the best level, because everything after that just feels bleh.
At least if you shut the game off after that,
it's true. You could.
Part.
I think my problem with Sonic games...
But then you also unlock the Chow Garden.
Oh, Chow Garden's classic. I had Sonic Pinball. I lied. There is a third Sonic game in my repertoire, and it is like Sonic Pinball Party for the GBA. I hate pinball. That game was bullshit, but it had Chow Garden, so it was saved. It was good. I liked the Chow Garden. And dumbass little me thought, "Wow, I love the Chow Garden mini game in Sonic Pinball Party," and everyone was like, it's in other Sonic games. I thought that was just the thing with Sonic Pinball Party. Like, this is sick, bro. You get an egg. This shit's popping. I love it. It's great.
Dude, why is that not something they just put in every Sonic game?
They should. It's fantastic.
Honestly, people love it.
Yeah, but I think the problem with Sonic games is they always have this one big moment in every Sonic game. And I just kind of sigh whenever I see it, because I'm like, oh great, so that means in 5 years, when they do their classic every 5 year, let's make a game where we look back on the history of Sonic, I know what the level will be. It's like every time. It's like every time there's a Sonic Anniversary game, whether it's Sonic Generations or with Sonic Frontiers, where they have the background, it's like, Okay, where's the truck? I know the truck's coming. Where's the fucking truck? Show me the truck. Where is it? Oh, there he is. You think I'm in a fucking isekai, dude? I'm like looking for the truck. I'm like, where the fuck's it coming?
Where's Truck Coon?
Where's Truck Kun at? It's time to get killed. Anyway, it's like it's the problem with Sonic games is you look for those one set like that one section every time. It's like Sonic Heroes, they always do the beach. They always do the beach with the dolphins from Sonic Heroes. Every time they always do that shit. And it's like, okay, can we do something else? There's a lot of cool levels in Sonic. They at least look cool, even if they play like shit. So you could do something like that, like I'm still waiting for that kind of Sonic Mania 3D Sonic. And I don't mean it in generations where they have like bits and pieces of every game where I'm like, I want you to just take the worlds that you've already made and do good shit with them instead of mediocre. Like, take these cool locations, like these futuristic cities, and make a good level instead of a shitty one. Could you please? Thank you. That'd be great. But no. It's obviously iconic because even I've heard of it. It's great.
And of course, the music. Escape from the City. You know it, I know it, we all know it. It's a jam.
I mean, I think one thing that everyone agrees on, whether you like Sonic games or not, the music's always good. Like the Sonic music is always great. You can't argue that Sonic music's bad because it isn't. It's always great.
Mm-hmm.
Can't complain with a good Sonic soundtrack. Anyway, Hunter.
All right. Well, this one's going to be a little shorter just because there's inherently less to talk about. But I'd be remiss if I Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, the banger level.
Oh, fucking classic.
It's so good, man. There's just so much cool stuff to jump off of and grind on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can grind across the one plane, you can jump over the helicopter, and then, like, the layout of all of the rest of it is just a bunch of, like, half pipes and stuff. I really like the beginning levels of the first two Pro Skater games because those are the ones that seemed like they're most designed with the actual intent of comboing stuff together in mind. Whereas, the other ones the levels after that kind of have to bend the knee to being an actual location.
That's what I think it is. It's like, it's like the first level, the tutorial level in a Tony Hawk game is usually, it's kind of like, it's like a skate park or a warehouse that's being fabricated into, it's something that's like, it feels like somewhere you would actually go to do indoor skating, where it's like, okay, cool, they've built it for this. Whereas, like you're saying, you go into places like Miami and stuff like that, yeah, you'll have grind rails and stairs you can do shit on, but they also have to try and make it like functional.
Yeah, they have to actually make it a place. But, and it's great for a tutorial segment and just letting you learn the ropes of how the game controls. But also, like, when you go back there after you've, like, played the game for a while, it's just its own level of great playground as far as just the sweet combos and stuff you can do. And all that. And there's, like, the extra area outside that you can make your way to. It's just a really well done level.
Hell yeah. I like it's classic. It's a classic. And also just like again, like with Sonic, Tony Hawk soundtrack, fucking incredible. So it's like it makes anything iconic, dude. It's like what's the best middle level in gaming? You just pick the middle level in Tony Hawk, which like soundtrack's bang, it don't matter what it fucking is.
Yeah, you gonna say no to Superman by Goldfinger? Didn't think so.
Just some good shit. Just some good shit. Sorry, Cal, were you gonna say something?
I was gonna say I need to try these Pro Skater games at some point because I downloaded the 1 and 2 remake when it was free on PS Plus.
I always keep forgetting that. Just never played. I'm like, I should buy the Tony Hawk Pro Skater remake at some point. And I just like, oh yeah, we got it for free.
I'm about to for a little while. Like, chucked a solid weekend into it when it came out, and then I played it a few more times here and there.
It's on that never ending backlog.
It's not the first game I think of if I need something to zone out to, but maybe that's just because I haven't tried it yet.
Dude, I'm just like, I just realized that I'm like a masochist.
Year of expansion.
I'm a masochist at heart. Do you know what I did today? After I spent like 4 hours working on HGO background stuff, and then after that, I was like, you know what? I don't feel like, because I was looking at games to play, right, and I wanted to break between Sly 3 and something else, and I was like, I can play Bayonetta 3, I can play Kirby, or the other one is The Pathless, which is an indie game that came
Oh
out a
yeah,
couple of years
I
ago.
played the Pathless.
Yeah, and I've got a physical copy of it, and I'm looking forward to playing it, but I just
Nice.
can't bring myself to play it. So what did I do? Booted up my Xbox, fucking Insane Trilogy Crash 1. Why the fuck not? And I played through the entirety of that
That's
bastard, and I've got
hilarious
like,
because I was about to joke that you just started a Crash 2 speed run for no reason.
no, I just play through Crash 1 for fun. That's my pleasure, is going to the high road and going fun. Like everyone else, that's their worst
Fun.
nightmare. Do you know how proud I was? I haven't played that game in like 3 years. Stormy Ascent didn't die. Literally got
Oh,
fucking all the
nice.
way through that bastard with
Damn.
no deaths. And I was like, I'm proud of myself. Also, this is a problem. You have an addiction. It's time to stop. Because why do you keep coming back to this game? You naughty boy. I'm supposed to pick a game.
We like the
Where do
comfort
we?
food.
Let's
Yeah.
try.
I've got a couple. I'm trying to think of what Hunter. I'm trying to think what Hunter has. That's what I'm thinking now. Do you have the
Eh.
game that I think you have, Hunter?
I think I might have left it off.
You don't have a critically acclaimed prequel to a game releasing this year.
No.
Okay, let's talk about Breath of the Wild's fucking plateau then. That's like, again,
Oh yeah.
I hate Zelda. It's not even a. It used to be like, I don't like classic Zelda. I've tried too many of them now. I just don't like the original formula to Zelda. I just don't know what it is. 3D Zelda, especially, particularly. I'm sure I'd probably like 2D Zelda a bit more because it's a bit more structured in a way, if that makes sense. There's something about 3D Zelda that just doesn't click with me. And it's like, the vibe's cool. I played for the entirety of the Wind Waker, and I liked Wind Waker, but also I was fighting myself, and I was going to wikis to look up the answers to solutions to where the fuck I'm supposed to go. Like, I was not sitting there cruising the seven seas going, I'm having the time of my life. I was like, okay, which island's next? A2, brilliant, off I go. That's what I was doing, because I was like, Zelda just doesn't click with me at all. So, Breath of the
No, I get
Wild.
that. I'm kind of the same way.
And I'm not gonna lie, that Breath of the Wild launch trailer was the best trailer in video games, period. It got me
Ever.
so hyped
This
up
best
for a
trailer
game
for anything, period.
that I
Ever,
shouldn't be
man.
excited for. So much so, instead of being smart and buying a copy of it for my Wii U that I already owned, I bought a Nintendo Switch with a copy of Breath of the Wild on launch day, like a sad, sad boy. And I loved it because there's something, and the Great Plateau is like this brilliant bit of game design where they just give you a chunk of land and they basically make RuneScape's tutorial island, but like it's just like a little mini playground of pissing about. You're like, this place is huge. There's only 4 shrines that you have to do to get your abilities, and you're like, oh, this is cool. And then it just has like that. Oh, it has that. People always talk about that Elden Ring moment where you realize that the map that you've been playing is like a tenth of the map or whatever. I always think people over-exaggerate that, because when I looked at the Elden Ring map, I'm like, it's drawn out, so I can't really tell how big it is or how big it isn't, if you make sense, because it's just like a drawing of a map in a way, where I'm like, it kind of it's kind of big. I can't tell. But with Breath of the Wild, when it does that kind of moment where it's like, here's the Great Plateau, and here's now the rest of the game, you stupid fucker. I'm like, oh my god, look at how big it is. I've just spent like 6 hours doing 4 shrines and chopping trees, bro. What is this? It's like
Smacking around the same group of
Yeah.
bokoblins for
it's
their
just
little
like,
treasure boxes.
and I have massive respect to, and again, I'm like I say, I'm very much looking forward to Tears of the Kingdom. I'm kind of scared for Tears of the Kingdom, to be honest. Excited, but scared, because it's been 6 years. Why is this game taking so fucking long? I'm scared. I'm very scared. But there's just something about the kind of the audacity, the confidence of that video game to be like, here you go, fucker. Here's all the tools you'll need in the entire video game. Straight away, have fun. We know how good our game is. And you're like, you know what? You're right. It just fucking works. It just does. And I'm like, fair play.
That's one thing almost every Zelda game has in like space, is the audacity.
And I think it's
Like
just why
everyone,
that's why I love
yeah,
Breath of the Wild in comparison to all the other Zeldas, though, because it's like all the other Zeldas is like here's a fucking instrument, and here's like 6 fucking random arbitrary items you'll get across this fucking game, like boring. And that's what I'm scared about. Tears of the Kingdom. I don't want dungeons where they're like, here's the item and here's the puzzle, like here's the dungeon for the puzzles, which all involve the wind item, and I'm like, fucking kill me. Like that's what I loved about Breath of the Wild, going into a shrine, being like, okay, literally, I don't know what tool's going to fix this, what's going to solve this problem. I might even fucking do it in a completely unintended way. That's cool. I want that to stay.
yeah, yeah. Ideally for me, when they like, hopefully, I do hope that Tears of the Kingdom has like actual big dungeons,
It will. It's
but
been
I
6
hope they
years, Hunter.
bring, yeah, it better.
They've had to make something.
But I hope they bring with that the, general notions of the
Mhm.
puzzle design from Breath of the, which I think they are, because like they added more things that you saw them doing for like, 0.2 seconds per thing for
Yeah.
across all 3 of these teasers, but he was doing more stuff in it. And
It's just, yeah, I'm looking for it. Like, it's because I know this is it, right? I know that after this game, they're gonna go back
you gotta
to
wait till the
shitty
next one.
Zelda that I don't like. No, I know that they're gonna go back to shitty Zelda I don't like, because I feel like 2 of these, I feel like we always knew we were gonna get a sequel to Breath of the Wild,
Yeah.
but I feel like after they've done 2, I feel like they're gonna go back to the old formula, or they're gonna do a hybrid, or they're gonna do something where it's like, we're gonna keep pieces that we learned from Breath of the Wild, but Breath of the Wild games clearly take too long to make, so we're gonna we're gonna do more stuff in a smaller, and they're gonna lose me. I know
I
Zelda's
don't.
gonna lose me.
They started. It was taking them a long time between entries for the old formula. Towards the end of that too, like the distance between Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword was like 5 years.
Yeah, but you were getting
Yeah.
other stuff, right? You were getting other stuff. You were getting the portable games. You were getting,
Yeah, Link's crossbow training.
Yeah, okay, not that shite, but you know what I mean? It's like people are always like, oh, the gap between Skyward Sword and Breath of the Wild was pretty long. And I'm like, yeah, but you also had a link between worlds between them as well. So it's like you had.
No, that came
No, we
after.
didn't. That
Yeah,
That
came
was
out after.
2013. Skyward Sword came out in 2011.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm saying you had. Yeah, people say that the gap between that was long, but they always forget about Link Between Worlds is actually in between. That's what I was trying to say. Because it's Skyward Sword, then Link Between Worlds, then Breath of the Wild. People always ignore Link Between Worlds.
Oh.
That's what I'm
I
trying to
thought
get
you were
at.
saying that A Link Between Worlds was between Twilight Princess and Skyward
No,
Sword.
I'm trying to say
My
it's
bad.
between Skyward Sword and Breath of the Wild. And people always forget
yeah.
about it and act like the gap was longer. And then there's also all the other stuff, like Triforce Heroes. And yeah, you had Link's Awakening remake or whatever, but it's like it genuinely has been. We have not had a new game
been 4
in 6
years
years.
since that.
It's been 6 years since we've had an actual mainline to mainline game, and it's like it's crazy long, absolutely ridiculous. Even for AAA standards, that's a ridiculously long period of time to have a game in development. Scary times, bro. Scary times. But I feel like this is it. So this is me. Like, I'm hoping that it's my game of the year and I absolutely adore it, because I feel like this is all I'm going to get from Breath of the Wild ever again until they come back to it in like 15 years. And by that time, I'll be like, what, 40? Cringe. Fuck that. You think at 40 years old, I'm going to have time for Breath of the Wild 3 or whatever? No.
Dude, you're still gonna take a week off of work for it when it comes time to mark.
Yeah.
I'd like to hope at age 40 I will have cheated the system and figured out a way to actually just be happy, Hunter, and not be in a shitty job. That's my hope.
That's fair.
Damn.
But yeah, I didn't have because I didn't have this written down for the list, mostly because we decided not to include the worst openings for video games this time. But I had Twilight Princess as one of those, which is why I left off Breath of the Wild for the opening of a.
I feel like I'm sorry. I feel like I like Majora's Mask's intro because it's kind of creepy. You're in a forest and then fucking Skull Kid's like yoinky splinky and fucking, he's like,
Yeah,
this horse is mine now.
It's shanking time, baby. Off you go. I love that. That's creepy. But it's like all the other ones, they're just boring. It's like Link wakes up in his house. Link goes on an
Well,
event. It's like
yeah, but
boring shit.
those have the decency to take, like, Ocarina of Time, for example, at most, takes 20 minutes to get out
Yeah,
of
but
the
then it's like,
forest.
talk to the big tree. A big tree's like, get in my mouth, bitch. I'm like, no, I don't want this. Get away from me, you
Yeah,
creepy
which
boy.
maybe not the
No.
most interesting subject matter, but again, over and done with in 20 minutes. It takes you like 3 hours to get to a dungeon at all in Twilight Princess, and
Yeah,
most of
maybe
it is aggressively uninteresting.
I'd like Twilight
God,
Princess
Twilight
then.
Princess's intro was so boring.
Yeah, but in my head, I'd just be like, hey, at least it's not a dungeon, guys. At least it's not a dungeon. I don't know what it is about Zelda dungeons. They're just the most. They just don't work for me. They just don't work for me because then they're just they're just linear fucking roadblocks.
Certainly would not like Twilight Princess then, because the rest of the game
Would
is the
not.
part that is the least interesting.
Oh,
One
good.
thing it had going for it was the dungeon design.
I don't know what it is about Zelda dungeon design. It just isn't interesting to me because it's like I know that it's like an escape room, but for 5-year-olds, so you know where the fucking puzzle is. It's literally just like walk around a big escape room where you know the fucking solution, and if you don't, it's probably use the item you were just given. It's like it just doesn't do anything to me. And I love that people love Zelda, and I wish I could get into it, but I've tried like 5 of them and I just can't. It just doesn't work. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Anyway, Kyle, get us back on track.
Get us back on track. Did you guys know that there's a video game that I hate called Super Mario 64?
I do hate. Yeah. I mean,
did
yes,
you
you do
also
hate
know-
64. Just like I do hate 64. Oh shit! I mean, you like hate 64.
But did you know that Bob on Battlefield is secretly the best level in the game?
It is a pretty
Because
good level.
it feels like an actual fucking level that people could like inhabit,
It
and it's
does.
not situated on top of a fucking bottomless pit for no reason.
I do like
Isn't
Bob on
that right,
Battlefield.
Womp's Fortress?
It
I do want to
is
Isn't that
say
right,
it
Snow
is the
Mountain?
only one in the game. I love hearing you talk about Snow Mountain will only ever bring up memories of it just wrecking you the one time.
Dude,
Dude.
Snow Mountain is always where my Mario
Someday
64 playthroughs end. That's where all my
Yeah.
Mario 64 playthroughs end. That's the furthest I ever get in that game. Because I'm like,
So bad.
Bob on Battlefield is a good level.
Yes.
Then Flomp's Fortress, I'm like, this is some fucking Lego looking ass, bro. Like, Jesus Christ. How is
That's
level 2 already looking Lego? And then I get to that
Swamp's
thing.
Fortress
Battle
is
of...
fine.
I think the
It's
last thing I
just
did in Mario
bleh.
64 was Snow Mountain, fucking throw the penguins off the cliff and close the application. And that was what I did, because I was
That's
playing on the
fair.
Switch version. So I was just like, fucking
I
kill the
respect
penguins.
that.
So
Bye-bye.
yeah, Bob on because like the rest of Mario 64, essentially the level design does very much feel like a kid playing with toys. But Bomb Battlefield feels like a location that could exist in a fictional world.
You see, the
So,
thing is, though, is if it's that's a cool idea. I would love for not Nintendo necessarily, but if they like, you know how they did like Yoshi's Crafted World, Kirby's Epic Yarn, or whatever like that. The kind of idea of having a Mario or a kind of platformer where it is built out of toys and it is like a kind of kid just pissing about. That'd be a great idea for like a 3D
Called Little Big Planet.
No, not
yeah,
necessarily.
but he
I was
wants
thinking
a
of
platformer that's good.
Yeah, I was thinking more of when I was
Okay,
thinking
fair.
about it. I was thinking the closest that I could think of to something like that is that indie game that's supposed to be coming out this year, the Plucky Squire or whatever. I don't know if you guys
Lucky
have seen
Squire? Yeah,
Yeah,
I've seen
I think that
stuff
game looks
about that
fab.
one.
It looks great.
It looks cool, man.
It's got. I know the lead artist for it is Jacob Turner, who was the Pokemon guy. Who like. I just remember seeing him in like Pokemon interviews. I'm like, he's cool. I like him because he draws cool Pokemon, and that's pretty epic. And also, he's like one of the only Westerners that worked like at Game Freak. I was like, that's kind of cool. Like how he's just like chilling, and he's like one of the lead artists on Pokemon. That was cool. And now he's doing the Plucky Square. I'm like, that's a really cool concept for a video game. But it's like if you work with it, that's the thing, Hunter. Is if you worked with that idea, if you worked with a concept like that, I'd be perfectly fine. It's the fact that we all
Well, yeah, this
know
is the
that it was
result of
just
it just being an N64 game. I
not even
understand
an
that.
N64 game. It's a fuck it, chuck it at the wall, see if it works. Like, we don't have time to
Hmm.
texture the like. I'd allow it if I didn't like. We've all been on Photoshop. We all know what a fucking transparent object looks like with the fucking squares, like the two different coloured squares back to back to back to back to back.
Yeah.
Why are there fucking textures that? It's like, at least fucking put just like a solid blue texture or something on it. Jesus Christ. Like, it's not too hard, is it? Like, it's just, I get it. They were rushing it out. They needed something for the N64's launch. I get that. Also,
Yes.
hear me out. Fucking push the N64. Like, just do, like, you didn't need it out on that day with 2 fucking games. Yeah, Mario is great. Iconic game. I just like to think. We live in the world where we're always like, imagine that game with more year. Imagine Cyberpunk with 1 year. Imagine Mario 64 with 1 more year, dude. Fuck it. Sheesh. That would have been, like, incredible.
Dude,
Probably would have changed my
imagine
tune
the
on it.
whole N64 with 1 more year.
True. There are some great looking
You let them
N64
fix that
games, though.
fucking controller.
Like I say, hate
I
the
don't think
console,
that
but
controller would have been changed.
I hate the console, but there are some things that I do. Like, there are so many good looking games on N64. And 90% of them, to be fair, were by Rare. But when Rare did make an
Yes.
N64 game,
Thank
they
you,
were
Rare.
great. They were great and they
Yeah,
looked
but they also
fantastic.
made Donkey Kong 64.
I mean, that has the DK rap.
Look,
And I
they weren't
mean,
all winners.
I think it's impressive. Think about how many games Rare made during the N64 era, and then somehow, during all of that, they somehow
At least
managed to make like a
5.
6 million year long Donkey Kong game that no one likes. Imagine that's like, that takes skill to make a
It
game
is.
that long while they were also making other games. That's like really talent, like, fucking hell. Like,
It's
that's impressive.
it's like the RPG that you go back to when you're done playing the new game. And, you know, you got the long
Mhm.
thing play in between releases. That's what Donkey Kong 64 was for Rare's development.
It takes a special kind of person to like DK64, like Sam. But you know, someone's
Yeah,
got to like it. But no, Pop on Battlefield, actually a great level. I do love it.
it is.
And the music's
Very
iconic.
solid. It is. And then they reused it in Womp's Fortress immediately.
They reused it in like every level almost immediately,
That's
man.
true, they did.
Like 7 levels out of the 16 have that song.
Like, get that shit out of here. It's great though. You hear it the first time there, and it's fantastic.
King
Hunter.
Bomb is a really good design.
Yeah. Hunter, anyway, what's your
I like his
penultimate choice?
crown.
My penultimate choice.
Although I know you've got 2 that are quite similar, if you wanted to.
I'm going to go God of War. All 3 of the old God of War games were really good at doing their best thing first. But for the purposes of this conversation, I'm going to go with God of War 2.
Okay. I feel like that. I also feel that that stands for God of War 2018 and God of War Ragnarok, to be honest, as well. I feel like there's no better boss fight than the first boss fight in either of the 2 new God of Wars, in my opinion. Like, I feel like they peak too early every single time.
I mean, I guess in those games' case, as far as boss fights are concerned, yeah. But I feel like there are things in the game that actually
Oh, story and intro,
are
yeah, like story and stuff
are
like that.
higher
Yeah,
points
definitely.
there. You could make the argument that all 3 of the original God of War games is straight up peak in their first level.
But fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the first game,
God of War
not
1 did.
not as interesting once you're done fighting the Hydra. God of War 2 is where you go to Rhodes and you spend like 20 minutes just being smacking this giant statue around a city, and it's amazing. Like Kratos is going, he's trying to like lay siege to Rhodes, and you know, Zeus in form of a bird steals some of his god powers and uses it to animate this colossus, and you just spend this fun little back and forth where you oftentimes you'll be just smacking around the regular old soldier people, which is just kind of like the connective tissue into this really good like introductory boss battle. It has really solid moments, ripping off its hand and swinging it back at him, and just all the bombastic stuff that the God of War series became known for. And one of the things that's kind of nice about it is it manages to do all this without feeling overly tutorially, really. Like it just kind of throws you into these scenarios and assumes you played the other one or assumes you would know what to do. And I think it works because most of it's pretty self-explanatory. They still got the circle button prompts when you're supposed to do a quick time event, so you only so it's hard to get yourself lost there. And it does a good job at showcasing like just the general improvements in the gameplay as well. I'm pretty sure it had like the more streamlined or chain grapple thing at some point there. I'm kind of going off of years old memories at this point. Maybe I should have looked at this once before the
Just like
recording, but
boot up a let's play real quick.
yeah, I would
Be
just
right
play
back.
it myself. I don't know. But yeah, it's always the part of the game that stuck out the most to me. Like there are other cool bits in God of War 2, and I think God of War 2 is the most well put together of the original three, but that the introductory level in particular was really solid. Definitely its best foot forward.
Mm,
Mm.
definitely.
I haven't played God of War 2.
It's the one I know the most about from the original trilogy, but I also just think that's because it's the favorite. It's also the swan song to the PS2, so I feel like it has a lot of reasons for people
Oh,
knowing
really?
a lot about it.
Yeah, it came out in like 2007
Yeah.
Wow.
after the PS3 came out.
Hmm. So, anyway, I have one's a vibe, and then one is just a very good intro to a video game, or a very first couple of yeah. I'll go with this one first, which is we're bringing it back. We're bringing it back to episode 1, Hunter. We're bringing it back to episode 1. Animal Crossing: New Horizons.
Oh my
I
god.
really
Doom
Animal Crossing.
Eternal.
Doom Eternal, fantastic.
Doom Eternal does have a good
Still haven't
first
played it.
level.
Still haven't played it. No, Animal Crossing. I always like. I feel like the reason I like Animal Crossing: New Horizons' intro is most of the time it's just like, hey, you know what? Like New Leaf is like pick your name, pick your town, pick your you do all that, and then you just show up and they're like, congratulations, you're mayor. Now do shit for us. Where I think the thing I like about New Horizons is that it takes its time, and the reason it takes its time is because once you get there, there's no fucking content. But when it's in that growth phase of where it takes its time and it slowly builds up, I think it's like the best way Animal Crossing has done it. Where you have this island, there's only 2 of you. It's fucking it's unpopulated. Like it's uninhabitable. There's trees and shit everywhere. You're cleaning up. You build the museum. You have this kind of really slow growth where the first week and a half, 2 weeks, is brilliant. I mean, you don't even get the day and night, like the hourly songs, until like 2 weeks into the game because you're still not built up enough of your town. And it's just like, I just kind of love the vibe of that. And I think the real shame with Animal Crossing: New Horizons is it never keeps that vibe. Once that 2 weeks is over and the town becomes a regular Animal Crossing town, it kind of loses all of its personality, and then you just kind of end up missing the things from New Leaf that made New Leaf the best entry and still the best entry in the franchise, right? You miss the shopping kind of street. You miss like all of those you miss having all of the amenities. You miss having all those kind of stuff, all those characters, retail. You just start missing a load of stuff because it just becomes generic Animal Crossing again. But those first 2 weeks, man, when it's just like you on a deserted island and you've got to clean your shit up and you're just having the time of your life, those were a good 2 weeks, especially because it was COVID and there was nothing to do. Good 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I
Good
wish
2 weeks.
I really hope when the next Animal Crossing comes out, because I feel like it's funny because after New Leaf, I was like, when's the new Animal Crossing? And we waited so fucking damn long. I don't think they'll wait as long this next time, especially with the sales numbers. Even if it was COVID, I feel like they'll retain at least 50%, and that'll be like still ridiculous numbers. I hope they really do take lessons learned from New Leaf, because I feel like what ended up happening was people like, there's some really good shit here, but also New Leaf's still the kind of golden child of the Animal Crossing franchise. But man, like I say, first couple of weeks of Animal Crossing New Horizons, brilliant, loved it, good shit.
Yeah, New Horizons was a super chill game. I enjoyed my little few months I played of that game.
Dude, yeah, it's interesting because it's like with New Leaf, I always used to say to myself, one day I'll go back, one day I'll go back, and I never went back. New Horizons, I never have really been interested in going back because I'm like, I said my piece for that game. I'm not the kind of person that will build a town that's like, people will build like actual cities and stuff like that, or island paradises where they meticulously craft lakes and rivers and have everything
Create a
be
talk
super,
show with it.
create a talk show, whatever, yeah. That's just not what I play those games for, and I eventually click out. Same with what I do with Stardew Valley. Eventually, I'll click out. But I had a good time with it. I wish the DLC was more promptly released because I was well out of it by that time. And I did play a bit of the DLC, and I paid for the DLC, but I didn't get the most out of it like I didn't with New Leafs because it was far too late for me to really hop back in and properly explore it. So. Please release a full game next time, for the love of God. That's the one thing I hate about this current era of Nintendo is every game comes out unfinished. Unless it's an RPG. The RPGs come out finished, but everything else, no fucking chance.
Well, they have to.
Exactly.
Sad Mario.
Well, they don't have to. They could have very easily, Kyle, have used the Xenoblade DLC to just put back in the stuff that they didn't have time in development. But they don't. They actually make a full game. It's kind of crazy.
Imagine the ending just not being there.
Oh god, that would have made 3 a lot different.
What if it didn't end?
You would have liked it the
It
most.
just didn't have an ending. Was stuck in the endless now.
Hell yeah. Anyway.
Arguably thematic.
No, true.
I know.
Okay. Kyle, where are we going?
They should have done that. Well, speaking of JRPGs, I like JRPGs.
Oh god,
and I've had enough bullying things I don't like. Although praising things in games I don't like is what I was doing.
Okay.
But it's Chrono Trigger's intro. Chrono Trigger,
Good one too.
arguably like the greatest game on the SNES, arguably the greatest game ever released, some might say. I'm someone who would say that. It's a great game. And this game's intro, Hunter touched on it with Final Fantasy IX, but it's another intro that doesn't waste your time. It just gets right going, where you can basically take it at your own pace. You can go to the Millennial Fair, which is where the progression for the game is, or you can just go around the whole world map. The game doesn't stop you. The game doesn't gate you off of going anywhere, and I think that's super cool. But right at the start of the game, you're introduced to a lot of the main characters. You've got your protag Chrono, childhood friend Luca, and then you meet a girl at the Millennial Fair, Marley. That's her name, Marley.
Classic.
And
and again, such like, a good intro, you don't even know the names. You did so much.
Well, no,
it was a game that existed.
It's a weird
voice
name.
acting, so you don't know how to say it.
Yeah.
Oh god, it's one of those.
No one
games.
can agree on
it's
their
like
name.
The Aerith Aris shit all over again. Yeah.
Well, Ethan, it's spelled Marle. So
Marle. So Marley.
Marl. Like people jump back and forth between pronunciations.
I would go with Marley, but
so would I.
Because Marl sounds weird.
Marl just
Marl
doesn't
sounds
sound
like
right.
Carl, so I'm like, I'm like, no, that doesn't sound right. Marl.
Marl.
Marl. Like, yeah, it just doesn't sound. Yeah, it sounds like a Forrest Gump character, dude. That doesn't sound like a JRPG character at all. So anyway, you got a group of friends.
You got a ragtag group of adventurers,
a little gang,
all ready to explore the fair, and then you go up to Luca's little teleportation device showcase, and then the inciting incident happens. And Marley gets sent back into the past,
Bye.
Samurai
and then the
Jack.
game starts.
Cool.
Oh, yeah, it's
Poor
just,
Marl.
and again, like you can take the time to explore everything the fair has to offer, or you can just like go main, golden path it. Just go right to the progression. Go back to the Middle Ages.
As you do.
Oh, no, Chrono Trigger is just fantastic. Highly recommended if you've somehow not played it yet.
Even like the first
He's-
dungeon that you get to as once you follow Marley back into the past and all that, that's like super quick paced. Didn't have the
Mhm.
in back in the old times with the JRPGs, it was really easy to feel like you were taking two steps and just being trapped by the random encounters. That didn't happen in this
Yeah,
one so much because I don't think there were
the
random
other
encounters in Chrono Trigger.
Mm.
no,
Um,
all the encounters happen right on screen. Like you can see the
yeah,
enemies there most of the time, and the battles just take place right where you get attacked by the enemies. It doesn't go to the battle dimension to do the battles. It just happens right on the map.
yeah. So it just all still moves at a very quick pace. Like I didn't beat all of Chrono Trigger. In fact, I played maybe like 10 hours of it, and I feel like I managed to get through a lot of that game in those 10 hours because it's very economical with its time and the way it's
What was the
paced.
last thing you did? Out of
I think it was when
curiosity.
I think it was the first end of time part. I think like the
Ah, okay.
latest first visit. That was a long ago,
Okay.
so I remembered.
Yeah, you played a good amount,
Yeah.
but there was still so much more game after that.
Oh
Oh,
god,
Hunter,
right,
please
okay.
finish this
I'm
game.
moving on before he goes all fucking.
Ah,
I'm moving on before Cal gets into his cult circle and starts chanting, and the Hunter then joins in, and then that's when the problems
Well,
start.
now I'd have to like retrieve it from the hard drive of the other computer, so
Oh god, yeah, you
that's
don't
a
want to
bit.
fucking wait that one.
the hard
Yeah.
drive.
Well, yeah, the hard drive because I didn't really think to put the save file for a ROM onto the
Okay.
flash
Okay,
drive that I
fair.
was getting my video
Silly Hunter.
assets onto.
Silly
I wasn't
Hunter.
sure how you were. I wasn't sure how you were playing it. I wasn't sure if you like got the Steam version or not.
No, it's just
That's not a Hunter thing to
SNES
do.
emulator.
Anyway, Hunter.
All right, my last two, pretty much, um, very cut from the same cloth. Devil May Cry 3 and Bayonetta 2. Pretty much
Oh,
the
I'm
difference
glad
that
I cut
nine.
Bayonetta 2 from mine, so I'm glad that you put that one
Uh,
on.
yeah, so basically the difference that like 9 or so years makes. Devil May Cry 3, very ridiculous as an opening, very good at showing you what the game is,
Mhm.
especially in this particular case. The three cut out the first two games both you take several minutes to actually get to a combat encounter, and three was when they finally noticed the combat's what people like about this game. Let's just start you there.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
Uh And yeah, so three's just a really solid first level to do because it's just swarmed with enemies. You're
Mhm.
very capable of handling them. And you got your new style system that it
Mhm.
shows you what to do with. So very basic as far as the new direction that the series was kind of taking.
Yeah.
Bayonetta 2,
It's also cool. It's also cool just because like those first two levels in DMC3 are just combat levels.
yeah.
Mm.
They also give you nice little hints in the cutscenes as to things that Dante is like capable of
Oh
doing,
yeah.
like things that you can actually do, like riding on the enemies and whatnot if you jump on them.
Yeah.
All sorts of cool stuff there.
Mm.
And then
That's cool.
Bayonetta 2 is like the same thing taken to like the nth degree, where it's like you get exactly what the game shows you in that first level in the most bombastic fashion, and that's just what it is from there.
Also,
You
a
know.
demo that I played that instantly made me go, okay, yeah, I'll play this game. Because I remember them releasing a demo on the eShop, and I was like, sure, I'll play it. was like, yeah,
And then
this
you
is
played the
great.
rest of it,
It's
and you're
also
like,
still,
"Oh, shoot, that was the best part."
it was the best part of the game as well. I
It
was
was
utterly
the best
disappointed.
part.
It's a great part though. It's a great
It
part.
was a great
But
It
part.
is.
Oh.
it's
I
a
think it
good
was
intro.
us talking about that part that kind of spawned this idea from Hunter.
Oh, yeah,
The whole best first levels.
It is a
I'm
good
sure
one.
that might have been what caused me to write it down months ago.
I think you
It's
like
very
offhandedly
possible.
mentioned that when I was talking about my playthrough.
Oh,
Someone go fact check me. This video was in October.
yeah, it
Wow.
would have been October. Yeah, Bayonetta 2. Fantastic, bro.
Hmm.
Alrighty then. And I guess I'll wrap it up with a quick one. I'm not going to go too much into detail with this one because just in case, because I have a friend who is playing through Danganronpa the series right now, so I don't want to
Ah.
speak too much about it. But Danganronpa V3's first case, man, is like fucking
Oh,
like the best.
oh.
It's like the best thing in the
It
series. So you know,
it
it's
is,
like
honestly, like, straight up, man.
I don't want to spoil anything about it, but the setup is great, the investigation is great, the plot twist is incredible. I even knew the plot twist, and I was still like, "Damn, it's really good."
Yeah, and he's still
Um,
saying it's the best part of the series. That's how
it's
impressive
really,
it is.
it's really great, and I just love V3. I love V3 to
It's
death.
so good. Like,
It's my favorite one.
independently of it being brought up by other people, because
Mm.
sometimes people will be like, "Oh, this part of Danganronpa, blah blah blah," because Danganronpa is just naturally spawns conversations pretty easily.
It's also
When I'm
just
not
yeah.
talking to other people, this is the part of the series that I think of the most. This and like this one part at the end of the game too.
Yeah, like I say, I feel like V3 is very much a Marmite kind of game. Some people really I feel like it's either your favorite in the series or it's your least favorite, and there's no in between with that fucking video game. It seems most of the time. So it's like it's a very polar. But to me, I just think it's fantastic. I love it, and it's just even if we don't count the first case, it's my favorite intro to the Danganronpa games. Period. Because the first one's like, "Hi, my name's Makoto. I'm going to school. Look at me.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
my
I'm
average ding
aggressively
dong."
ordinary, and I'm gonna tell you that 7 times in 2
And
minutes.
you go through all that, and then Danganronpa 2 is like, "Hey, I'm Hime Hajime, and I'm the dooby dooby doo, and look at me, I'm going to Hope Academy." It's the same
You've
shit. It's
got
the
the
fucking
stupid
same shit,
pink
different
stuffed
day.
animal telling you utter nonsense.
Yeah. I'm Osami, and all that shite. And then number 3 is, "I'm trapped in a locker. What the fuck is this house for? Why are there robots chasing me? What the fuck?" And then yeah, it's really good. It's really good. It's so
Yeah.
good. And I just like I said, I love everything about Danganronpa V3. It'll always be my favorite of the franchise, and it's just always have a soft spot for it. It's just so good, so good. You should play it if you haven't, because it's good. And don't listen to the haters. Go in with an open mind.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
hey,
listen
if you
to
don't like
Edward
the ending,
instead.
like 50% of people seem to not
The rest
like
of the
it.
game is
There's
still
still a
better
great
than the rest of
90% of the
every
game there. Yeah,
Yeah, the
there's still a
rest of the
great
game is
90% of
still
the game
better
there.
than the other ones.
It is. It's great. It's so good. It's everything I like about 1, but better. The school, better. The atmosphere, better. The characters, better. Everything. So good.
I would argue that 1 might still be paced a little better, but that's just because it's the shortest one.
Oh yeah, that's the only
The
downside is the V3 is like
Yeah.
35 hours in comparison to like 20.
1 wins the structure and pacing war just by virtue of
Just by
being the
being the
one that they were
shortest of the 3, yeah.
but yeah.
I agree with that. But anyway, those are our picks for the best intros in video game history. What did we miss? Let us know. Because I'm sure we missed plenty. I don't know. We've listed every video game that had a
I
good
don't
intro.
know.
All the others, bad. Every single one.
All of them
All of them
not
bad.
super impressionable.
Yeah.
'Cause there are plenty of these that I was thinking of, and I was just like, "Well, that was fine." Like, I thought of, like,
Mhm.
a few platformer levels. I thought about Celeste too, but then I'm like, I talked about Celeste so much last year, I'm gonna omit that one.
Nah, fair enough.
Meh.
Fair enough. But yeah. I don't have anything else to say, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh,
I'm tired.
There's a River City Girls review for you guys
Oh.
to go watch.
Yeah, that's out. Go watch that.
Yeah.
I did my job this time. You can go and watch that. So you're live on
Yeah.
youtube.com/HGO. And if you made it this far, you've probably already watched it, but go and watch it again. I appreciate it. Good job, kids.
I would also
Proud of you.
appreciate it.
And so would I.
But yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up, and I feel like I'm gonna say our links are on screen right now for probably the last time. I think I'm just gonna press the button from now on and just do the doodly do, because I realized that for all those podcast listeners, that I'll always say our links are on screen right now, and they'll be like, "What the fuck is this?" And it was one of those things where I was like, it's shower thoughts, where you're like, I've said something for the past like year and a half that doesn't make sense for 50% of our audience. So I'm like, that's brilliant. But they are in the podcast description if you want to go and check them out. Like, I'm just saying, you can do that. You can do that.
I want you to know that this means I'm just going to do some random magic casting with my hands at any given point during the outro of the podcast.
I'll have to do like some kind of. I'll do something like I'll have to like scratch the side of my head or something whenever I'm about to press it, so you can just do the fucking hand gesture. I don't know. Maybe I'll keep it on, or maybe I'll just be like, hey, remember you can go. I'll say something like, you know, more generic, like, hey, that's been our show, and you can go and follow us on Twitter if you want to keep up to date with everything that we do. You know, we'll come up with something. I'm always full of spiels, Hunter. I can come up with another spiel that doesn't involve looking at something in an audio format. We'll see. I'm great at spiels, you know, just like this one. You can go and follow us on Twitter at HotGamersOnly, or subscribe to us at youtube.com/HotGamersOnly. And hey, Hunter, if they don't want to look at your stupid face doing the little whooshy animation, you can go to your podcast service, favorite one, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, you name it, we're on it. Go and give us a follow, give us a nice little review. You can listen to us there. It's all good. You can do whatever you want. It's free real estate. I love listening to podcasts. I used to be a big video podcast person where I'm like, no, I need to look at the people talking, or I just need to look at something. Now, just pop that in the background. I've got stuff to do. I'm a busy person. I've got stuff to do. Stick it in the pocket. Listen to you.
It's funny. When I would listen to podcasts, a lot of times it would be in the video form, but half the time it was still just while I was doing something else, so it hardly mattered unless they were doing something outlandish and I had to like look over and see what it was.
It used to be, I was unemployed, so I'd have podcasts on in the background while I was doing other stuff to keep myself busy. Now, I don't have time. I get like 2 or 3 hours in a day to do what I want. I don't want to listen to a podcast. That's what work's for. Yeah. I'll listen to podcasts during work time. Yeah. Because at least it gets me through the day a little bit easier. But you know, ramble aside, that's it for this week. Next week, am I right? Is it Persona? It's Persona week, right? Persona's out. Fire Emblem is out. Am I right?
Fire Emblem would also be out, yeah.
So yeah, look forward to impressions on Persona ports. They're probably going to be good. Spoiler alert, they're probably just going to be Persona ports. I've seen the trophy list for Persona 3 portable. Go fuck yourselves, Atlas. That's fucking atrocious. Good lord. 2 playthroughs, guys. 2 playthroughs? Yeah, one is male and one is female. Yeah, you got to do both of the bastards. And they expect you to complete the Persona compendium, max out your social links. What the fuck is this? You think I've got all day? I've got a life, Atlas. What the fuck? I thought you'd learn with Royal.
Playthrough to finish.
I thought they'd learnt with Royal, where Royal's just like, show up, you get a platinum. I'm like, epic. You know, they should realise that the 100-hour journey is trial enough to get through. Never mind. And Golden's just...
At least P3's on the shorter side.
Golden's the golden list, as it's always been, so I hope you guys like listening to Laura Bailey and hoping she says all the voice lines you want, because that's what you're going to be doing. That's the biggest challenge for Golden. But the portable one is genuinely, it's like, complete 2 playthroughs, complete the compendium, max out all social links in a single playthrough. I'm like, jeez. Too much. So much stuff. But those are out. I'll be playing Fire Emblem, so you can have plenty of impressions from me when I go, oh my god, the anime game is very anime. I like it when they use horses and they fly around and they do the weeb things. It's going to be great.
I like it when Marth from Smash Bros. Shows up.
I know, right? Yeah. So you've got that next week. Then the following week you have got Forspoken, and then I believe the week after that is Dead Space. Am I correct in that?
Dead Space is the same week as Forspoken.
Oh, even better. So I don't have to speak that much about Forspoken. Brilliant, just as I always wanted, just as I could always dream. So you got a nice little couple of weeks. So we got some content. It's weird. It feels weird having stuff in January, this early in January. Usually it's the last week of January, so I feel like things are creeping up on us.
The last week in January, when Microsoft goes
the
and buys something.
Yeah. The Kingdom Hearts
Oh
Day.
no.
I feel like it was the Kingdom Hearts Day. I feel like Kingdom Hearts did really well there like 3 years ago. 4 years. Jesus Christ, 4 years. 4 years ago. And now everyone's
Kingdom
like...
Hearts and Resi both came out like at the same kind of period of time there.
And I feel like it was a 1-2 punch where they were like, oh, this time slot works now. So now people always creep in with some random shit. They're just like, yeah, Forspoken and Fire Emblem and, you know, fuck it. Have a Dead Space
February is always like packed.
Oh god, February's we're not talking about
fun.
It's not going to be fun at all.
Octopath Traveler 2.
Octopath Traveler 2.
We'll each have to just like split up and take a game to talk about.
Well, I don't know what I'm taking. If it's PSVR,
You're taking Horizon, Call of the Mountain, on your PlayStation VR 2.
I will be expecting donations, and I'll be like, thank you very much for your donation. I appreciate it. I'll be like, I'll be going on a fucking rally at this point. Anyway, that's all for this
the sound
week.
of someone who's booting up a Crash 2 stream again. He needs the funds.
I'm broke, guys. I'm broke.
Oh shoot, I'm gonna have to tier 3 sub.
Oh god. I just think
Dude,
you
just
guys,
get the donation bar across the bottom of the screen.
I'll just have it be the screen. I'll be like, the more money you give me, the more Crash 2 you see. Okay, I'll make the bar.
Go collect your gifted subs from Jack, finally.
Oh yeah, I do.
Yeah, go cash those in.
Taxpayer. Yeah, it's like the tax man's finally coming calling. Anyway.
Tax collector.
Anyway, that's it for this week. Thank you ever so much for listening and watching wherever you are. We hope you have an amazing week. We'll be back same time, same place next Monday. But until then, have an awesome week. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye.
See ya.
Toodaloo.